In a hospital room, a cold, white light shone on the doctor's face. Holding a CT scan of a brain, he slowly announced in a grave voice, "Your condition is indeed terminal brain cancer. You need to be hospitalized immediately." Hearing the news, the young man, with a gaunt face and vacant eyes, asked the doctor in a hoarse voice, "Can my illness still be cured?" The doctor hesitated, replying with some difficulty, "You shouldn't give up. After all, getting treatment is better than no treatment at all." The results sheet in the young man's hand slipped to the floor, and he mumbled with a heavy heart, "I don't know what the apocalypse is, but today is my apocalypse." The scene shifts to the hospital's flower garden, under a torrential summer downpour. Wukong sat silently on a bench as a voice came from his phone. "Son, how did your health checkup go? It's not anything serious, is it?" He forced a strained smile and replied, It's pretty good. Just a little low blood sugar." He continued in a sad voice, "It's nothing." He introduced himself, "I am Wukong, a second-year university student, and I was just handed a death sentence by fate." From the phone, his younger sister's clear voice rang out, "Brother, when do you get a break? Xiaojing misses you." Wukong lowered his head, his sorrowful eyes looking at the dead cicada at his feet, his voice trembling. "I miss you too, Xiaojing. I'll be home tomorrow." His father laughed loudly over the phone. "Son, we're at the supermarket buying fish. Tomorrow, your mother will cook something delicious for you, and I'll come to the bus station to pick you up." Wukong replied thoughtfully, "Okay, I know." He thought to himself, though he yearned to reunite with his family, he still didn't know how to break this terrible news. He continued, "I still have to take the bus back to the dorm, so I'll hang up now." His father reminded him, "Okay, be safe on your way." Xiaojing also chimed in, "Bye-bye, brother." Wukong hung up, surrounded only by the sound of the pouring rain. After a moment of silence, he slammed his fist on his knee, shouting in frustration, "Damn it!" Clutching his head with both hands, tears streamed down his face as he resentfully wondered why, out of everyone, fate had chosen him. The scene shifts to Xiaojing. The little girl looked up at the sky, raindrops falling on her small face. She exclaimed in surprise, "Huh, Dad, it's raining." Hearing this, her mother quickly said, "Good thing we've finished our shopping, let's go home." The family of three started to leave, just as from a nearby exotic meat restaurant, a man saw them and called out, "Hey big bro, just shopping at the supermarket? Come on in and have a bite to wait out the rain." Wukong's father frowned and replied, "No, we're not going. What's so good about exotic meat? You should eat less of it. Aren't you afraid of getting sick?" The man retorted in a dissatisfied tone, "Nonsense. Exotic meat is the most fragrant." Seeing he couldn't convince them, he turned back inside, chuckling. He really doesn't know how to eat. Then he called out loudly, "Boss, another serving of otter meat." The owner immediately replied, "Okay." The dish was brought out, and the man sat at the table, chewing greedily while praising it. Truly a delicacy, the best in the world, and so nourishing. Inside the restaurant, the male owner was processing the otter meat while his wife sat nearby, puffing on a cigarette and muttering calculations. "Business hasn't been bad lately." The owner nodded. "Isn't that the truth? Otherwise, we'd be losing a lot of money. I specialize in finding people to catch animals from the mountains." As he was talking, the otter suddenly bit his hand hard. He flew into a rage and cursed, "Damn it. This beast is about to die and it still won't be quiet." The scene shifts back to Wukong. A small hand offered a handkerchief to wipe the blood from under his nose, and a clear voice asked, "Why is your nose bleeding again?" Wukong was startled to see Xing Luo. She giggled, "What are you spacing out for? You're not thinking of something naughty, are you? It was the same yesterday. You were just sitting alone, spacing out in the rain." Seeing his silence, Xing Luo continued to tease, "So, classmate Wukong knows how to think about dirty things, huh?" Wukong blushed, quickly grabbing a towel and turning away. "It's not like that. I'll do it myself." He looked at Xing Luo, his eyes filled with sorrow, then closed them as the memory from the clinic came flooding back. He thought to himself, if only this nosebleed was because of those times things, that would be great. If I didn't have brain cancer, I could have pursued her. An image of Xing Luo appeared in his mind. As he was lost in thought, a brusque voice rang out, "Hey!" A blond guy with pink glasses and slicked back hair shoved Wukong aside. He stumbled with a grunt, muttering, "Just like every year, the end-of-term humiliation festival." Xing Luo angrily yelled at Li Tianqian, "Haven't you had enough? This bullying is going too far." Li Tianqian sneered, "Xing Luo, why are you protecting him like this? I don't like it." His lackeys chimed in, "Yeah, sister-in-law, why are you getting worked up over him?" Xing Luo brushed a hand away. Xing Luo shot back, "I told you, I'm not your sister-in-law." He laughed smugly, "You will be, sooner or later." His lackeys continued to jeer, "You always argue with the boss because of this loser." Another one added, "That's right, this sickly Wukong guy can barely be considered human." Wukong sat silently, thinking to himself, "It's all because of my weak body. Ever since I was a kid, I've been bullied by people like this every single year. He gritted his teeth, trembling as he told himself, but I don't want to endure this anymore. After all, what's more frightening than death? Noticing his attitude, Li Tianxian grabbed his face and asked, "What's wrong? You got a problem?" Wukong didn't flinch. Enraged, Li Tianxian threw him to the ground, yelling, "Let's see just how much of a problem you have." Xing Luo screamed in panic, "Wukong." His phone fell and shattered. At the hospital, Wukong's father was calling his son but only heard an endless dial tone. He grew anxious, and his mother suggested, "Why don't we send him a text and tell him to go home first?" Suddenly, from the next hospital room, a wild scream erupted. Ah! It was the man in the green shirt from the Wild Game restaurant, his eyes completely white and green veins bulging on his face as he roared, I want to eat meat. Meat. Give me meat." Wukong's parents could only sigh at the sight. The man's wife sobbed, "Doctor, what on earth is wrong with my husband?" Asterisk sob times. "He came home yesterday and just became like this." The doctor replied, "We're not sure of the cause yet. We've received many cases like this in the last few days. By the way, did he happen to eat any wild game last night?" Wukong's father was startled as he recalled what happened yesterday. In front of the Chun Shang Wild Game restaurant, an angry mob was banging on the door, shouting, "Open up. You better explain yourself today. My dad ate at your restaurant, and now he's in the hospital. You owe us an explanation." When there was no response, a man with a sledgehammer slammed it against the door, cursing, "Damn it. If you won't do this the easy way, we'll do it the hard way." The door burst open, and a swarm of thousands of flies rushed out, causing the crowd to cover their mouths and curse. Inside, tables and chairs were overturned, and blood was splattered everywhere. A powerful stench filled the air. "Ugh," a man exclaimed, pinching his nose. "What happened in here? It's making me sick." From the back of the restaurant, a creaking sound echoed. Someone peeked in and screamed in panic, "Aya!" The restaurant owner was kneeling before his wife's corpse, which was surrounded by pools of fresh blood. Her face was frozen in an expression of absolute terror. The man shrieked, "Murder! There's been a murder!" Meanwhile, on the bus, Li Tianxian's lackeys were cheering. "Yeah, get him. Boss, you're the man. Beat that useless pest to death." Wukong was being beaten to a bloody pulp. As Wukong lay there, dazed, Li Tianxian finally stopped. He gritted his teeth. "Damn it, have you had enough? You still dared to defy me." Xing Luo was blocked by the lackeys, who shouted, "Stop, get out of the way." The long-haired guy smirked, "Sister-in-law, when men fight, women shouldn't get involved." Another one chimed in, "That's right, the boss is going to destroy him, so you should stay out of it." Furious, Xing Luo glared coldly and yelled, "I said, get out of the way." She grabbed the long-haired guy's arm and twisted it, making him scream in pain, "Ah, I was wrong, let go." The old driver turned around and yelled, "What the hell are you doing? You bunch of brats, one more move and I'm stopping the bus." The red-haired guy flipped him off and cursed, "What the hell's it to you? Just drive, old man. Did you not get paid enough? Or are you asking for a beating?" Suddenly, a figure slammed into the front windshield with a loud thud. The old driver slammed on the brakes, cursing, "What the hell?" But the inertia sent everyone tumbling. The old driver got out to check, bewildered. How is there no one here? The red-haired guy stuck his head out and yelled, "What kind of driving was that? Do you really want to get beaten?" Li Qianxi also barked, "What the hell are you doing?" Suddenly, a hand slapped him hard across the face. It was Wu Chong, who had used the last of his strength for that one slap, and was now panting weakly. Veins bulged on Li Qianxi's face as he sneered, "Humph. Looks like this little rabbit knows how to bite back." He grabbed Wu Qiong by the head and slammed it hard into the window. Blood splattered everywhere. Xing Luo screamed, "Stop it." Li Qianxi shoved her aside, raising his fist, "Let me teach you." Before he could finish, a gray, ashen hand slapped hard against the window. Li Qianxi's eyes widened as a mangled face full of sharp teeth appeared, its mouth growling. The entire group's faces turned pale. What in the world is that?" The old driver turned back to see the zombie clawing at the bus door, a grotesque smile spreading across its face. It lunged and sank its teeth into the man's neck. A blood-curdling scream echoed as the people on the bus panicked. "What is that thing?" Their faces filled with terror, they screamed, "Oh my god, what is happening?" A sharp-eyed person yelled, "A zombie! It's a zombie!" Li Qianxi scrambled to the driver's seat and roared, "Damn it!" He quickly turned the key and slammed his foot on the gas. The bus shot past the zombie and the driver, hurtling down the road. Glancing at the rearview mirror, Qianxi sighed in relief and muttered, "That was too close. What in the world is going on?" Someone screamed in panic, "Boss, up ahead." Qianxi's eyes widened in horror as a zombie suddenly threw itself onto the windshield. Its tongue was hanging out, as if it wanted to swallow him whole. He gritted his teeth, his face twisting in fury. "You son of a bitch." He quickly yanked the wheel, trying to throw the zombie off, but it clung tightly to the wiper, its sharp claws reaching out. Asterisk, smash. The windshield shattered and the zombie lunged at Qianxi, but suddenly, there was a sharp slicing sound. The zombie collapsed, having been sliced clean through. A stunned Qianxi turned to see Xing Luo, her eyes cold, holding a sword. She yelled, "Focus on driving." Then, she decisively kicked the zombie's body off the bus, which then crashed through a guardrail and continued speeding ahead. The other passengers were panicking, clutching their heads. One of them screamed, "What in the world is happening? I think I'm going crazy. Why are there zombies? I want to go home." Another person started sobbing, "Wah, I'm so scared." The person next to them quickly tried to console them. Don't panic. We're already going as fast as possible." Wu Qiang tightly gripped his broken phone, praying silently. "Mom, Dad, Xiao Xing, please be safe." Li Qianxi glanced around. He cautiously checked the rearview mirror. The toll booth was now completely empty. He then saw the sign for the transit station. He announced, "We're here." But the surroundings were eerily quiet and shrouded in a thick fog. Everyone began to get off the bus. A young man asked uncertainly, "What's with this? The fog is so thick." Someone else sighed, "It's too quiet." Xing Luo and Wu Qiang stepped off the bus and exclaimed in surprise, "Why is no one here?" Suddenly, a person pointed forward and yelled, "Everyone, look!" They saw a crowd gathered inside the station and cheered happily. "There are people over there, there are people." One young man recognized the figure of a woman in a brown coat. He shouted joyfully, "Mom, it's my mom." He rushed forward, "Mom, I'm home." Li Tianyi quickly tried to stop him. "Hey, hold on." But the man ignored him, running to hug his mother. "Mom, you scared me to death. I thought something happened to you." Before he could finish, the woman turned around, revealing a horrifying face and making a gurgling sound. His eyes widened in terror as the horde of zombies in front of them all turned and lunged. Fresh blood splattered everywhere, and he only had time to scream, "Mom!" before a blood-curdling scream rang out. "Aha!" The zombies swarmed out. The crowd fled in panic, one person screaming, "Zombies!" Xing Luo grabbed Wu Qiang and yelled, "Go!" Suddenly, a clawed hand reached out from behind, and Xing Luo quickly pushed Wu Qiang away from the lunge. He stumbled, his head hitting the car behind him hard. Without hesitation, Xing Luo drew a sword from her bag and finished the zombie off with a single stab. Wu Qiang scrambled to his feet, his eyes widening in disbelief as he recognized the red sedan with a Spider-Man sticker on the trunk. "It's our family's car." He walked over, calling out, "Dad, Mom, Xiao Xing," but the car was empty. Disappointed, he then spotted a phone with its screen still lit up. He quickly picked it up to read a message from his father. "Be careful on your way, son, and don't lose your luggage. I'm at the hospital with your second uncle. He's sick, so head home on your own. Reply when you get this, son. Dad's coming to get you, so don't wander off." Wu Qiang's tears streamed down, wetting the screen. He cried out in anguish, "Dad!" Suddenly, a small hand tugged at his shirt. He turned to see Xiao Xing, her eyes welling with tears. "Brother." Wu Qiang hugged the trembling little girl tightly. Xiao Xing burst into tears. "Brother, Mom told me to hide. Mom and Dad went somewhere and they haven't come back." Sob. Wu Qiang said, his voice choked with emotion, "Xiao Xing, I'm sorry, I'm late." Xiao Xing asked pitifully, "Why did it take you so long to come back?" Before he could answer, a zombie smashed the car window, reaching a hideous hand toward them. Xiao Xing screamed, "Brother, I'm scared." As the zombie lunged, Xing Luo appeared, jumping on it and stomping it to the ground. She swung her sword, finishing it off with one blow. In Wu Qiang's eyes, Xing Luo looked like a powerful and breathtakingly beautiful warrior. She said, "Ah, Qiang, let's go." Wu Qiang picked up Xiao Xing, and the three of them ran towards a store. Xing Luo urged, "Hurry, the door is about to close." Someone inside shouted, "Use all your strength." Wu Qiang yelled, "Hurry up, it's closing." Xing Luo shoved his shoulder hard, and the two of them slid inside just as the door slammed shut, saving them. Panting for breath, they realized Li Tianyi and his group were also there. Someone said, "Things felt off this morning, lots of people were sick, but who knew they'd suddenly go berserk?" The sound of shattering glass echoed as zombies clawed at the building. Li Tianyi said impatiently, "Hey, we need to find a fast runner to be a decoy for the zombies. We can escape to the fruit store across the street." Someone protested, "Who would do that? No way, that's a suicide mission." Li Tianyi shouted, "If no one goes, we all die together." He glanced around coldly. "Fine, since none of you will volunteer, I'll pick someone." He grabbed Xiao Xing, "Let this little brat go." Wu Qiang screamed, "What do you think you're doing?" Xing Luo also shouted, "Li Tianyi, have you lost your mind?" He sneered, "I said the bait should be someone lightweight, easy to toss. Now, open the door and throw her out." Xiao Xing cried in a panic, "Let go of me. I want my brother." Wu Qiang lunged forward, "If you're going to pick on someone, pick on me. Let my sister go." Tianyi laughed, "Pick on you. Haha, A piece of trash like you isn't even worth touching. He kicked Wu Qiang hard in the face, sending him to the ground, bleeding. Suddenly, the clang of metal rang out. Xing Luo charged forward, swinging her sword, but Tian Yu blocked the attack. He threatened her, "You always protect him, and I'm getting tired of it. Now, be a good girl." She replied coldly, "Cut the crap and let the child go." Tian Yi tossed Xiaoxing to his men and roared, "It seems you're still eager to play." He swung his iron rod to attack, and the two sides clashed fiercely. Tianxi shouted, "Fine, I'll play along with you." On the other side, the red-haired man ordered his henchmen, "I'll pull the door, you throw her out immediately." Xiaoxing screamed, "Brother, brother!" Everyone could only watch helplessly. Wu Qiang groggily opened his eyes, murmuring, "It hurts so much, Xiaoxing." In his mind, the doctor's words echoed, "Terminal brain cancer." An image of his family appeared. His kind father said, "Son, your mom and I are buying fish at the market. Tomorrow, Mom will cook something delicious, and I'll come to the bus station to pick you up." Xiaoxing smiled brightly. "Brother, Xiaoxing missed you so much." The doctor's words, "You should inform your family soon." Wu Qiang asked himself in agony, "Why am I destined to lose everything?" An image of Tian Shi and his men appeared, and he blamed himself. Why couldn't I protect anyone? Back in the present, the henchman shouted, "Get ready to throw her." The door opened, and Xiaoxing screamed, "Brother!" Wu Qiang roared, "Let me go." He staggered to his feet, resolute. "You will not throw my sister out. Let me go. I'll lure the zombies away." Tianxi and his men were stunned. Xing Luo was also astonished. Wu Qiang gently hugged Xiaoxing. "Xiaoxing, you and Mom and Dad promised to wait for each other, right?" The little girl nodded. "Yes, we promised to come back." He smiled. "So now I'm going to find Mom and Dad. You wait here, okay?" Xiaoxing protested. "No, you can't go." Xiaoxing didn't want to be separated from him today. Wu Qiang handed the little girl to Xing Luo. "Xing Luo, I'm counting on you to take care of Xiaoxing. She's very well behaved, just be careful, and she won't be any trouble." Xiaoxing cried, pulling on his shirt. "No, brother, don't go." Xing Luo spoke up. "Wu Qiang, you don't have to go. There has to be another way." But he raised a hand to stop her, hugged them both tightly, and said, "Xing Luo, thank you for everything." Xing Luo understood he had made up his mind, but her eyes refused to accept it. Wu Qiang told Xiaoxing, "From now on, you have to listen to Xing Luo, okay?" The little girl wailed, "No, brother." He turned and walked away, ignoring Xiaoxing's screams. "Take Xiaoxing with you. Xiaoxing will be good." Xing Luo called after him, "Wu Qiang." One of the men yelled, "If you're going, then hurry up. Stop dawdling." Tianxi signaled for him to be quiet. As Wu Qiang walked past, their eyes met, but no words were exchanged. The contempt was gone from Tianxi's eyes. He opened the door, and Wu Qiang stepped out. Xing Luo threw a sword, shouting, "Wu Qiang, catch." He caught the sword by the hilt. His posture was resolute, ready to carve a bloody path. Xing Luo watched his retreating back, praying silently, "You have to come back." Blood splattered everywhere. Wu Qiang looked at the sky, the light obscured by dark clouds. He thought to himself, "The sunlight I was waiting for is about to fade." He furiously slashed at the zombies, his heart filled with resentment. "Everything I held dear, I can't get any of it back." Zombies fell one by one. The sword Xing Luo had given him was now bent and caked in blood. Wu Qiang turned and ran, the horde of zombies chasing after him. He gritted his teeth, hating these hideous creatures. Looking at the zombie in front of him, he thought, "They're the ones who took everything from me." He pointed his sword straight ahead, silently regretting his last chance to say goodbye to his family and the world. But when the zombie turned around, its eyes made Wu Qiang freeze. An image of his father, with his gentle smile, appeared in his mind. It was his father, Dad. Wu Qiang was stunned, calling out, "Dad." Tears streamed down his face as he trembled. "Dad, Dad." The zombie lunged forward and sank its teeth into his neck. Wu Qiang didn't dodge, thinking to himself, "My family is innocent." Another zombie rushed in from a distance. He was in agony. "Mom and Dad don't recognize me anymore." The zombie bit into his other side. He told himself, "They died inside these rotting corpses." His vision blurred. Remembering his gentle mother, he called out, "Mom." But in reality, his mother was a bloodthirsty zombie. He thought, if they were still alive, they would never do this to me. His arms flailed, trying to struggle. Then he hugged the two zombies tightly. Letting them tear into him, he roared in anguish, "I can't accept this." Tears streamed down his face as he said, "Mom, Dad, you're right here in front of me." The zombies' claws reached out, but he paid them no mind, continuing on. It was clear he had already prepared his final words. Blood splattered everywhere, his face drenched in blood and tears as he mumbled, "But why didn't I even get a chance to say goodbye to my parents?" From inside, Xing Luo tightly hugged Xiaoxing, wailing through the glass. Wu Qiang's hands went limp as he whispered, "Is this goodbye?" Xing Luo sobbed, calling out for Wu Qiong. As the horde of zombies continued to rush in and tear him apart, he thought to himself, this was the most frantic day in human history. As late afternoon fell, vultures circled the sky, and one swooped down to peck at Wu Qiong's body. Just as its beak touched his eye, a hand suddenly shot out, grabbing the vulture by the neck, and Wu Qiong's eyes snapped open. He bolted upright and bit into the vulture's neck, causing it to squawk in pain. He frowned in disgust and vomited a mixture of blood and flesh. The nearby zombies stared blankly as Wu Qiong staggered to his feet in the fading afternoon light. Filled with confusion, he wondered, what's happening to me? He looked up, asking, is that the sun? The world was gray and bleak. Seeing the zombies, he snapped back to reality. Zombies. He remembered being bitten by them. He should be dead. Staring at his clawed hands, he mumbled, but why am I still alive? The image of his parents turning into zombies flashed vividly in his mind. He squinted, recalling Xing Luo's tear-stained face and Xiao Xing calling his name. He snapped to his senses and screamed, Xing Luo. He immediately dashed back towards the store, thinking, I have to find them. In front of the store, the scene was one of utter devastation. Blood was splattered everywhere, leaving him stunned. He called out in a trembling voice, Xiao Xing, Xing Luo. A grotesque sound echoed from a dark corner, where he saw a zombie devouring something. A chill ran down his spine as he told himself, it can't be. His eyes widened as he tried to reassure himself. It's definitely not them. Another zombie crawled over and bit his leg, but Wu Qiong paid it no mind, dragging it with him as he moved forward. The feasting zombie stopped and turned its head, revealing a blood-stained sports belt. Wu Qiong trembled, recognizing it as Xing Luo's. He screamed, you bastard, and charged forward in a frenzy, flinging off the zombie latched onto his leg. His claws dug deep into the fat zombie as he screamed, you ate her, you ate her. Staring at its vacant expression, he squeezed tighter and roared, why? Wasn't eating me enough for you? You had to go after them too? He hung his head in despair, Xiao Xing, that little girl. Tears streamed down his face again as he gritted his teeth, crushed the zombie's shoulder, and let out a roar. Xiao Xing was only 4 years old. He shoved his hand into its mouth, trying to claw something out, screaming, give her back to me. He gripped Xing Luo's belt tightly and yanked hard, splattering blood against the wall. The zombie shrieked and collapsed. Wu Qiong panted heavily, his hands still clutching the belt as blood dripped to the floor. He stood there stunned. Did I just kill a zombie? Just then, a nearby cardboard box started to shake. Wu Qiong cautiously approached it. Peeking inside, he was surprised to see a red-haired guy who was scared out of his mind. He asked, are you one of Sister Li Tian's people? The man just screamed, a zombie. The shelf behind them began to wobble, and with a chorus of growls, a horde of zombies burst through, toppling it. Another red-haired guy screamed, help. Wu Qiong swung his arm, his claws slicing through 2 zombies at once, slicing a water bottle clean in half. The man trembled as he pointed at him, monster. Another zombie lunged forward, biting the red-haired man's wrist. He gasped, monster, before collapsing. Wu Qiong's expression darkened, staring at his own hand in a pool of blood. He mumbled, monster. Seeing his reflection in a puddle on the floor, he was horrified by his own zombified face. What have I become? Memories flooded back. He was supposed to be dead, yet somehow he was still here. Thunder rumbled outside. He watched a zombie chewing on the red-haired man's corpse and thought to himself, you can't even call this living. I'm just a walking corpse. He screamed, drawing the attention of the entire horde. In his despair, an iron pipe suddenly slammed into the back of his head. Twack. Wu Qiong collapsed, and a group of people approached. One of them commented, nice one, Xiao Shen. You really laid into him. The one who swung the pipe cursed, damn it, that was scary as hell. These kinds of zombies are the most annoying. Another guy stepped on Wu Qiong's head disdainfully. It's obviously dead, but it just keeps screaming its head off all day. Another guy swung an iron bar, smashing it into a nearby zombie's head, sending blood flying. Suddenly, a hand reached out and grabbed Wu Qiong's leg tightly. It turned out to be a white-haired guy. He dusted off his hands and gave a scornful, mocking smile. Why so gloomy, even as a zombie? You must have been a real pain when you were alive. Then, another person gently lifted Wu Qiong's leg and dragged his unconscious body outside. The scene changes. A large pickup truck was waiting outside. The guy showed no mercy, throwing Wu Qiong hard onto the ground, then reported, last one. Neatly arranged beside him, the corpses of other zombies were scattered about. Soon after, they tossed him and the zombies into the truck, shouted, all done, and locked the truck bed tight. The white-haired guy sauntered over, smiled, and ordered, all right, let's move out. The truck immediately sped off like a blur. Wu Qiong's body bounced violently on the floor of the truck bed. Inside the cab, the white-haired guy calmly leaned back in his seat, looking completely at ease. Suddenly, Wu Qiong let out a faint gurgling sound. It seemed he was pulled back into the past, back to his familiar home, crying out, so hungry. His eyes fluttered open dreamily as he mumbled, "What is that? It smells so good." Waking up in his room, he was drawn in by the alluring scent. Stumbling down to the kitchen, he asked his mom, "Why does Dad smell so good? What's for dinner tonight?" In the kitchen, the rich aroma of meat was intoxicating. Wukong approached the pot of simmering stew, sniffing the air and muttering, "Meat." He gulped, his eyes becoming mesmerized by the pot of meat. "Meat." Hunger drove his hand forward as he mumbled, "Meat." Then he plunged his hands straight into the pot, grabbing a chunk of red meat, its juices running through his fingers. Wukong's eyes looked hypnotized. The next second, he began to devour it frantically, blowing on the hot meat as he chewed. Suddenly, a voice called out from behind him, Wukong." He kept gnawing away until he turned around, his appearance now that of a zombie. The one who called was Jing Luo. She screamed in panic, "Ah, a zombie." Her reaction startled Wukong. His face darkened, and as if snapping out of a trance, he looked down at his own hands, now covered in sharp claws. "Brother?" On the floor, Xiao Xing's eyes widened as she stammered, "Big brother?" Terrified, Wukong threw his head back and let out a sorrowful scream. "Ah!" The scene shifts back to reality, thick steam surrounding him. He jolted awake in boiling water, shouting, "Xiao Xing!" The two guys next to him, holding a ladle and some scallions, froze in shock. Wukong was bewildered, wondering to himself, Where is this? A second later, he realized he was in a large tub with a raging fire burning underneath. He looked down at the bubbling water, then looked at the things scattered around his hand, muttering, "Are these chopped scallions?" Suddenly, a strange sound came from above. Surprised, Wukong looked up with a soft grunt. Before his eyes, countless zombies were hanging upside down like items on display. Shocked, he wondered, what on earth is happening? At the same time, in a small house, a man's voice rang out, "Hey, take what you've earned." He tossed an asthma inhaler to the person opposite him. The white-haired guy's subordinate shouted angrily, "What, just one inhaler? You promised us 5 before." A green-haired guy pushed up his glasses and smirked, "Take it or leave it. This is the medicine I risked my life to get from the hospital. The price is going up by the minute." A blonde guy said with an arrogant attitude, 5 zombies for 1 inhaler was the price 10 minutes ago, but now. He paused, a mocking smile on his face, and declared, "It's 20. This enraged the white-haired guy's men. "What? These guys are so despicable." Someone cursed, "This is outrageous." The green-haired guy revealed a sinister look and chuckled, "He. In the apocalypse, medicine is a rare resource. You should be glad you can even buy it, huh?" The white-haired guy snorted coldly, "Cut the act." The blonde guy was stunned. "Huh, what did you say?" The white-haired guy slowly approached him. "You guys seemed so sincere before. That's why I agreed to this deal." His expression gradually grew menacing, and the blonde guy snapped, "What are you staring at? If you know what's good for you, move it." Before he could finish, the white-haired guy swung an iron pipe, clang, right into the blonde guy's head. He only managed to let out a cry before collapsing. The white-haired guy sprayed some medicine into his mouth and sighed in relief, "Phew, that feels so much better." He then wiped the blood from his pipe on an underling's shirt, threatening, "If you don't hand over that spray, I might not be able to stop myself from crushing all of you." The blonde guy's lackeys raised their weapons and yelled, "You bastards are dead." Suddenly, a yellowish liquid splashed onto one of the men's faces. He brought up a dripping hand, confused, "What is this?" Then he screamed in panic, It's gasoline." The white-haired guy replied, "Yep, so naive. You guys really thought I'd come all this way and just ignore a valuable resource like this?" He struck a match, his eyes glinting menacingly. Anyone with a brain should be prepared to be turned into a barbecue. Seeing the match, the men started begging, "Don't, please don't, sir. We were wrong. We can talk about this." Just then, the door burst open and a man ran in, screaming, "Boss!" The group turned to look. The man warned, There's a zombie." Before they could understand, a clawed hand violently shoved him aside. Wu Qiang stepped forward, asking, "Are you the boss here?" The white-haired guy recalled the moment the match slipped from his fingers in slow motion. Wu Qiang narrowed his eyes, and with a swoosh, the white-haired guy was startled, thinking, "Impossible." In the blink of an eye, Wu Qiang appeared behind him, caught the falling match, and crushed it in his hand, putting out the flame instantly. Then, he casually asked, "So, can you tell me what exactly happened here?" The white-haired guy thought to himself, "This zombie is special." He tightened his grip on the iron pipe, thinking, "This time, I'll definitely kill you." He then leaped forward, swinging the pipe down. Wu Qiang casually raised a hand to catch it, and with a gentle squeeze, the iron pipe buckled. Time seemed to freeze as the white-haired guy whispered in despair, "Holy crap, I'm so screwed." The iron pipe dropped with a loud clang. Everyone stared, dumbfounded, as one of them called out, Chi-E." Wu Qiong stared intently at Qi. Qi met his gaze, sizing him up. As the atmosphere grew incredibly tense, someone whispered, "So much for that plan." Unexpectedly, Wu Qiong frowned and began to speak. "I mean you no harm, I just want to know." Before he could finish his sentence, Qi dropped to his knees with a thud, slammed his forehead on the ground, and yelled, "I'm sorry." Wu Qiong was completely stunned, blurting out, "Huh." Qi pleaded desperately, "I shouldn't have tried to ambush you. I was wrong. Father." Wu Qiong cursed silently, "Damn it," as Qi scrambled to hug his leg, still begging, "Please give me a chance to make it up to you." Everyone was speechless, letting out a choked gasp. Qi kept wailing, "Please don't kill me." Wu Qiong's face darkened as he thought in embarrassment. He's surprisingly spineless. He hauled Qi to his feet and said coldly, "Enough, get up." Then, looking at the others, he added, "Let's talk inside." Wu Qiong sat down and began his story. "It was like this when I woke up. The world was already like this." He hesitated. "And I had become like this too." A man trembled. "How scary." Another one wondered aloud, "Even though a zombie bite turns you into a zombie, do zombies that retain their human memories actually exist?" Wu Qiong was silent, unsure how to respond. Suddenly, a bottle of water landed next to him. Qi, with his arms crossed, said casually, "Hee, how romantic. Trying to save your sister and your crush after they got bitten? Don't worry, it's a total movie cliché." He raised a hand, revealing, "There's just one thing. Zombies don't devour a person completely." Wu Qiong was startled. "What?" Qi explained, "Mammals leave bones behind after a meal, and zombies are no different." He continued pensively, "If you didn't find any trace of them, it's possible they escaped." Qi's expression became serious. "Or they became zombies, just like you." Wu Qiong's eyes widened in shock. The scene shifts to another area, shrouded in thick smoke. A tearing sound echoes as the hanging zombies begin to move, sending the crowd below into a panic. A worried man asked, "It looks like they've evolved. What do we do?" A guy standing nearby hurriedly spoke up, "Go, get the boss." The remaining person panicked and yelled, "If you want to go, go by yourselves. Who knows if that monster from earlier is still lurking around somewhere." Suddenly, the rope binding a zombie's hands snapped, and with a thud, the zombie fell straight into the vat of boiling water below, causing the surrounding crowd to scream in terror. "Oh no," it fell in. The zombie thrashed around in the flames, its body contorting and making bizarre cracking sounds. One of the men in the crowd, observing closely, remarked, "It seems the rope hasn't come undone." The flames roared intensely, and a strong aroma filled the air. The scent hit a nearby man's nose, making him unconsciously gulp and mutter, "It smells so good." Back to Wu Qiong. After listening to Qi's analysis, he quietly asked, "What about the zombies?" He jumped to his feet, ready to leave, prompting Qi to quickly ask, "Hey, what are you doing?" Wu Qiong turned back and replied curtly, "I'm going to find them. Even if they're zombies, I need to see it with my own eyes." Qi walked over, crossed his arms, and asked with a slight tilt of his head, "The world is a vast place. How do you plan to find them in this enormous, dying world?" He took a few more steps and casually continued, "Perhaps." As he finished, he flashed a meaningful smile, and a moment later, Qi's true intentions were revealed. He slung an arm around Wu Qiong's shoulder and suggested, "You could think about finding a guide." Seeing this, a man standing nearby warned in a panic, "Hey, what are you doing? He's a zombie." Qi paid him no mind, just glaring in annoyance and scoffing. Wu Qiong spoke coldly, "If I recall correctly, you're the one who knocked me out and dragged me here." Qi was taken aback. "Huh?" Not sparing him another glance, Wu Qiong shrugged off Qi's arm and said coldly, "I don't know what you guys are doing with these zombies, but I don't trust you." Then he walked away, adding, "If we don't trust each other, there's no point in forcing a friendship." Watching Wu Qiong's back disappear, Qi groaned internally. "This is tough. I've really made an enemy of him this time." His face darkened, his mood soured, and he turned to the man behind him, saying, "Hey." The man saw his expression and trembled in fear, letting out a small whimper. Qi's gaze was sharp and cold. He asked, "Did you think I was being too lenient? That you could just do whatever you pleased?" The guy stammered, "It wasn't me." Instantly, Qi sent him flying with a kick, shouting, "Forgot who's the boss here." The man who was kicked groaned, "Ugh." Another man quickly tried to mediate. "Brother Qi, he didn't do it on purpose. He's a zombie, after all." The man who was just kicked struggled to his feet and chimed in, "Yeah, he's too dangerous. Who knows if he'll suddenly go berserk." Qi sneered disdainfully, "What the hell do you guys know? The apocalypse is dangerous by nature." He paused for a moment before continuing, "If you can't even handle a little risk, aren't you just pathetic? A sentient zombie who can fight and is armed. Now that's an appealing prospect." Meanwhile, with Wu Qiong, as he passed the room from earlier, he heard a strange clicking sound and thought to himself, "This is the room I woke up in." Cautiously, he gently pushed the door open to peer inside, and the scene before him made Wu Qiang's eyes widen in utter shock, leaving him speechless. A group of people were ravenously devouring zombie meat, chewing and swallowing like long-starved beasts. Wu Qiang stared at one of them and uttered, "These people are eating zombies?" A moment later, that man charged directly at him, but Wu Qiang was lost in a whirlwind of chaotic thoughts. From the hallway, a thick, aromatic smell spread, wafting around Chi-Yi's group. Chi-Yi's face showed his annoyance at his subordinate's plea, "Brother Chi-Yi, we'll listen to you." Suddenly, a rattling sound came from the glass door, and a veiny, sinewy hand appeared out of nowhere, terrifying the whole group. The zombie grabbed a nearby member by the throat and bit down hard, a scene that made everyone scream. A Liang, one of Chi-Yi's underlings, crawled away trembling, stuttering. Zombies were pouring in from the large gaps. The zombies had already swarmed in. It was incredibly dangerous. The blonde guy trembled. "Why are there so many?" From behind, Chi-Yi forcefully stabbed with a large iron rod. Black blood splattered everywhere. He smirked. "Yeah, you even have to ask?" He calmly observed the scene and said, "They've arrived right on time for dinner." Meanwhile, Wu Qiang was grabbed tightly by another hand. He gritted his teeth and struggled to break free, immediately realizing the grip was too strong. Wu Qiang quickly kicked out, sending the guy flying straight into a wall. After observing for a moment, he judged that this guy was no longer sane. The rest of them rushed towards him, and Wu Qiang thought to himself, "These guys must have mutated after eating zombie flesh." Looking at the situation, he muttered, "This won't be easy." He clenched his fist and threw a powerful punch. One guy was sent flying, crashing into the one before him. After taking him down, another group swarmed in. Wu Qiang muttered, "There's still more. This is such a pain." A zombie lunged forward, but with a loud bang, it dropped to the ground. The one who acted was Chi-Yi, and Wu Qiang was surprised to see this. Chi-Yi looked at the mutated people, sneering. "These idiots ate it without any testing. Looks like they've completely transformed." He walked over to Wu Qiang, raising his club into a defensive stance. "The situation's pretty tricky now." "Huh? Let me join in." Wu Qiang looked at Chi-Yi's back suspiciously. "Does this guy want to help me?" His eyes were filled with scrutiny. "Wait, I have a bad feeling about this." From a distance, a shout echoed, making them both jump. Brother Chi-Yi's crew had arrived in full force. One of them shouted joyfully, "Great, Brother Yi found him. We're saved for sure this time." Hearing this, Wu Qiang cursed under his breath. "Damn it, I knew it." Chi-Yi glanced at him and gave a forced smile. "Oh dear. If you came to help, why is this getting more and more troublesome?" Wu Qiang coldly denied it in his mind. "No, you clearly did this on purpose." The zombies continued to growl and charge, relentlessly attacking the two of them. Standing shoulder to shoulder, Chi spoke up. "All right, we have to go." Wu Qiang snorted coldly and replied, "Yeah, then you better use your full strength." The situation was now extremely critical. Outside, zombies swarmed in from all directions, chasing after Chi-Yi's underlings. Inside, the mob of people who mutated from eating zombie flesh were still menacingly advancing. Looking at the chaotic scene, Wu Qiang cursed silently. "This is all your fault anyway." He was speechless, thinking, "I haven't had a moment of peace, and now there's a new wave." Despite the loud shouts of the crowd, the doctor was silently digging through a pile of zombies, muttering, "It seems like they were all dragged away by that group from earlier. That was too dangerous. I almost died." From a dark alley, intermittent growls could be heard. The zombies aimed straight for the group, rushing in like a storm. A panicked man exclaimed, "This isn't a normal amount of zombies. Over here, over here." Wu Qiang fought fiercely, sending them flying into the wall one by one. After clearing out the mutated people, the zombies swarmed in again. One of them, with its mouth full of sharp teeth, stared intently before suddenly lunging and sinking its teeth into his shoulder. Wu Qiang's expression didn't change as he thought to himself, "This is so annoying. What was that about fighting shoulder to shoulder?" As he spoke, he grabbed the zombie's head, pulled it off, and threw it aside, roaring in frustration. "In the end, I'm the only one fighting." He unleashed a roundhouse kick as if to vent all his anger, thinking, "You're clearly just here to hold me back." Suddenly, Wu Qiang's gaze froze. Looking down, he saw an arm wrapped tightly around him, making him let out a surprised grunt. Chi-Yi had his eyes squeezed shut in fear, silently clinging to him as if for dear life. Wu Qiang yelled, "Let go of me." Chi-Yi didn't back down, shouting back, "I won't. No. If the zombies don't bite me to death, you'll beat me to death. You choose." He glanced around, muttering, "Are you kidding me?" The iron bar in his hand was bent, but he still held Wu Qiang tightly as if letting go meant death, watching his comrades become zombie fodder one by one. Chi-Yi thought to himself, "These monsters are not something humans can fight." A guy shouted a warning, "Easy, watch out." From behind, a zombie suddenly appeared. Seeing the situation, Chi-Yi couldn't help but curse, "Damn it." Just then, Wu Qiong grabbed the zombie's head tightly, speaking sarcastically. "Oh, so you're finally willing to let go?" he asked coldly. "What if you had gotten hurt?" Chi-Yi's face turned pale. Without letting Chi-Yi answer, Wu Qiong smashed the zombie's head against the wall, shouting, "Then don't blame me." Black blood spurted from the zombie's head, punching a large hole through the damp wall. Seeing this, Chi-Yi couldn't help but exclaim, "No way." Easy's underlings were stunned, frozen in place for a long moment. Behind the wall, Wu Qiong was pinning Chi-Yi down, causing the underlings to call out in confusion, "Easy!" Chi-Yi's dry cough broke the awkward atmosphere as he struggled to whisper, "Ah, I think my back is broken." Wu Qiong glanced at him and smirked. "Yeah, you brought this on yourself." He turned to the gawking men and yelled, "What are you all standing around for? Get over here now." The men looked at each other, nodded, and rushed forward, but a zombie suddenly grabbed one of their legs from behind. Wu Qiong appeared in a flash, stomping hard on its arm. His eyes were cold as ice as he looked down and asked, "Do you guys still have any oil?" "I still have one bottle." He shoved the bottle of oil into the zombie's mouth, glanced at its yellowed teeth, and muttered, "Look at those teeth." He must have been a heavy smoker before turning. He took out a lit match and sighed, "I hate to do this, but it'll be a huge pain if I don't deal with it." A memory flashed by, his child's voice echoing, "Daddy, please stop smoking." Wu Qiong muttered, "Ha ha. I'm listening. I'm listening." He brought the flame closer, saying, "Have one last smoke." Then he tossed the match, and the flames erupted violently. "Go find peace." The zombie, along with the bitten comrades, was engulfed in a sea of fire, finding release amidst the black smoke. Only 4 survivors remained, standing before the flames that separated life from death. One blood-soaked man wailed miserably. Chi stood in silent mourning for his fallen comrades, while Wu Qiong's eyes filled with sadness. He thought to himself, "Don't live in such misery anymore." The fire blazed higher, billowing black smoke, as the group stood in silent remembrance of their fallen brothers. After a long silence, Wu Qiong spoke, "The fire is getting too big. You all should leave now." Chi-Yi, reading his state of mind, spoke up, "You're not going to find them." He looked at him with a steady gaze, "And even if you do, it will be for nothing." Striking at his weak point, Chi-Yi stated bluntly, "You've seen it for yourself. You're just a lone zombie. Alone in the apocalypse. You can't protect anything. It's that simple." He pressed closer. "Work with me. You don't need to trust me. We'll just use each other. No one owes anyone anything." Wu Qiong paused in thought and then let out a soft chuckle, which startled Chi-Yi. "You are a strange person." His smile faded as he added pointedly, so full of bravado at the worst possible moments. He jabbed Chi-Yi in the back with his elbow. Chi-Yi clutched his stomach, doubled over and groaning in pain, feeling like he could cough up blood. His 2 comrades called out anxiously, "Easy, brother, easy." Wu Qiong slung an arm around Chi-Yi to hold him up, smirking, "But this is fine. Let's see." He effortlessly hoisted Chi-Yi onto his shoulder. "What trump cards are you really holding?" Chi-Yi, panting in pain, suggested, "In any case, let's just get to the car and get out of here first." But their off-road vehicle was already in flames. The whole group froze in their tracks. The blonde-haired man cried out in despair, "The car's on fire. We can't go anywhere." Chi-Yi spun around and slapped him, scolding, "You damned fool. I told you not to park the car upwind. Damn it, you thought I was joking." The whole group erupted into a noisy argument. Wu Qiong was getting a headache. It was an accident. It was all an accident. Get over here and see if I don't beat you to death. Suddenly, the doctor appeared. Mocking humanity, are we? Internal strife is even uglier than zombies. Everyone turned their eyes toward the voice. The guy holding the key suggested, "A smart person always leaves a way out, so how about we make a deal?" Chi-Yi looked at him with a mix of belief and doubt. "The fire's already at your heels, so what's with the pretense?" Sure enough, the doctor trapped in the burning house was begging in a panic, wasn't he? "Hurry and save me. Everything is negotiable." A moment later, in a nearby parking lot, the vehicle's engine finally started after a few attempts. The doctor wiped his sweat and sighed in relief. "Phew, thank goodness it started." He touched the vehicle nostalgically, saying, "This car. I haven't driven it in a long time." His eyes held a distant look. This lot was reported as abandoned, and after the apocalypse, its owner is probably gone for good. He turned to Wu Qiong's group and asked, "The vehicle's ready, so who's driving?" The entire group's faces darkened in silence. Chi-Yi glared at him, only to realize it was just a 3-wheeled cart. He furiously punched the doctor to the ground, yelling, "You want me to drive this piece of junk? This busted 3-wheeler is trash that even zombies would turn their noses up at. Are you trying to pull a fast one on me?" The scene erupted into chaos as curses flew. He tricked us into saving him. "This is outrageous. There's not enough room." The doctor defended himself, saying, "Hey, a small fly is still meat. It's better than nothing." He lowered his voice, "Don't attract the zombies." Chi-Yi grabbed his collar, threatening, "If I go down, I'm taking you with me." Wu Qiong took out a long chain and stepped in to control the crowd. All right, that's enough noise. The sight that followed left them all stunned. Wu Qiong was effortlessly pulling a brand new bus as if he were walking a puppy. Then he suggested, "If you want to argue, do it on the road. Now, everyone get on the bus." He then ordered the doctor to get on first to check things out. The doctor looked around before getting on. One by one, everyone else boarded and took their seats in an orderly fashion. Not a single word was spoken. The doctor asked curiously, "Hey, where on earth did you guys get this ride?" The others thought to themselves, "Just don't ask." The sight of Wu Qiong pulling the bus with his bare hands as if it were a balloon left the doctor in shock. How incredible. But in Wu Qiong's heart, there was only one person on his mind, Xiao Jing. "Wait for your big brother," Qi Yi said with concern. "It's not that I doubt your physical strength, but we have a very long way to go." Wu Qiong reassured him, "Like I said, you help me find the person I'm looking for, and I'll ensure your safety." He smiled and added, "We're just using each other. No one owes anyone anything." Feeling reassured, Qi Yi was about to board the bus when he was stopped. "Hey, wait a minute, where are we heading?" He flashed a sinister smile. Anyone who's even a little bit smart and on the run is hiding out in the suburbs. Meanwhile, in the suburbs, heavy panting echoed through the area. Red Hair, one of Li Tianzi's men, was running for his life, cautiously glancing over his shoulder from time to time. A zombie in a pink dress was crawling after him on all fours at a terrifying speed. Red Hair exclaimed, "I didn't expect it to be this fast." He dashed into a nearby dilapidated village as the horde of zombies tailing him grew larger. Suddenly, he tripped on a rock and tumbled to the ground, crying out, "Ouch." The zombie in the pink dress immediately lunged at him. A triumphant smile spread across Red Hair's face. Took the bait." A sharp iron rod flew through the air. With a sickening squelch, the zombie's head was pierced and flew to one side. Red Hair scrambled up from the ground and gave a confirming nod. In front of him, the horde of zombies closed in. He calmly struck a match, and with a hiss, he tossed the flame into a pile of hay. The fire roared to life, blocking the horde of zombies, which turned and fled. Red Hair wiped the sweat from his brow and sighed in relief. Phew, that was too close. Suddenly, laughter echoed from behind him. Hee hee. A large man approached with a few others and clapped Red Hair on the shoulder. "Nice work." Looking at the zombie corpse in the fire, he grinned triumphantly. "Looks like we're finally eating meat tonight." The scene shifts. On the ground lies only the pink dress. Nearby, a pot of soup boils vigorously over a fire. A rich aroma wafted through the air as the group exclaimed, "Oh my god, that smells incredible. A bite of this every day and you'll live to be 99. The large man ladled out 8 pieces of the meat and ordered, "Go, bring them over here." The other man replied, "Got it," before leaving the cramped room. The group huddled silently in the corner, when suddenly a powerful kick burst the door open, and the man who had just appeared stood menacingly before them. "Let me have a look." A domineering voice boomed. Hearing this, everyone in the room turned pale with fear, and Xiao Xing was there too, cowering on the verge of panic. The man pointed directly at the little girl and yelled, "You!" Without another word, he mercilessly grabbed Xiao Xing and dragged her away, as she cried out in terror, "Hey, don't!" But the man paid no mind, hauling her straight to the fat man in the hat, ignoring her desperate screams, "Let go! Let me go!" The fat man immediately shoved a piece of zombie meat into the little girl's mouth. "Come on, little treasure, be a good poison tester for us," he sneered. Xiao Xing screamed helplessly, "No!" Then she covered her mouth and swallowed in agony, while they watched her intently with knives at the ready. After a moment, Xiao Xing let out 2 dry coughs. Tears streamed down her face, cough, cough. Seeing that she was okay, the group cheered excitedly, "She's fine, she's not turning. This meat is safe." They immediately divided the pieces among themselves, shouting, "Eat up, eat up." They devoured it greedily, their mouths slick with grease, constantly praising it. "Oh my god, this meat is so tender and fresh." Hello, you are listening to the Best Manhwa Summary 2025. They don't have that foul smell on them. They joked nonchalantly, "Hey, I told you were getting desperate for women, didn't I?" Meanwhile, Xiao Jing cowered in the corner, hugging a pillow, tears streaming down her face. Big brother, Xiao Jing is so scared. In her heart, she only wished to see her big brother again. On the other side, Wu Qiong was focused on pulling the bus along when a cold gust of wind brushed past, making him pause, his eyes immediately turning vigilant. "What was that sound?" Qi Yi asked, poking his head out with a worried voice. Wu Qiong glanced behind him. A horde of zombies had been silently tailing them for who knows how long, growling as they slowly advanced. Qi Yi screamed in panic. "We're screwed. It's a zombie horde." Wu Qiong immediately yelled, "Get back inside the bus." Hearing Qi Yi's warning, the other 3 people started to panic. "Why are there so many zombies? We're done for. This can't be happening, right?" Wu Qiong calmly circled to the back, silently observing the zombies as they slowly approached. Without any agitation, they swept past like phantoms, leaving him stunned. Seeing this, Wu Chong turned back. Seeing the zombies continue to steadily walk forward, moving further away, the people on the bus dared to poke their heads out and ask doubtfully, "They're just leaving like that. What's going on? Can't they see us?" Chi also peeked out, calling softly, "Hey, are they looking down on you?" Suddenly, someone pointed into the distance and shouted, "Everyone, look over there. Zombies! Zombies!" They followed the direction he pointed to see the horde of zombies swarming towards a house where a fire was flickering. The doctor asked in confusion, "That's not the place we're supposed to go, is it?" Chi gritted his teeth, his face tense. He cursed, "Damn it." Seeing his expression, Wu Chong knocked on the window, signaling for everyone to sit still and buckle up. Chi asked in surprise, "What?" Wu Qiong wrapped the iron chain tightly around his hand and said confidently, "We can still get past them if we go now." Hearing that, the group hurriedly got into position and fastened their seatbelts. Wu Chong asked, "Are you ready?" The group replied in unison, "Ready." The moment the words were out, he used all his strength to pull the bus, which shot forward like a rocket. The people inside were violently jolted and screamed, "Whoa, this is so fast. Actually, I'm not ready yet." Wu Qiong was like a tireless machine, charging ahead, with the bus now moving as fast as a bullet train. He swept past the zombies, yelling, "Get out of my way. I'm not responsible if I run you over." At the same time, from the house below, the thick smell of roasting zombie flesh wafted up. Outside by the fire, the zombies still lingered, unwilling to leave. Inside, the group of people were still devouring pieces of meat. One guy scratched his neck, where a patch of skin had started to change color, but he kept eating, praising, "Smells good. Save the leg for me. I want the ear." Suddenly, someone appeared from behind. The fat guy in the hat turned around and recognized him, cheerfully calling out, "Boss Tianbi." He held up 8 pieces of meat with a fawning smile. "This is the best cut, saved just for you." Li Tianbi took the meat, smiling with satisfaction. "Good dog." The fat hat guy rubbed his hands and respectfully replied, "Yes, yes, of course, of course." Suddenly, Li Tianbi's gaze froze, fixed on the horde of zombies growling outside the door. He slapped the fat hat guy, yelling, "Damn it, you idiot, who told you to open the door?" Then kicked his butt and urged, "Go close the door." The fat hat guy hurriedly replied, "Yes, yes, yes." Observing the horde of zombies, Li Tianbi mumbled, "Something's wrong, this isn't normal." He figured that for the zombies to be in such an uproar, something unusual must be going on. The fat hat guy reached the door, then turned back and stammered, "I." Li Tianbi aimed his crossbow at him threateningly. "Hurry up." The fat hat guy reluctantly moved forward, replying with a tremble, "Yes, yes." The moment he reached out to pull the door, a zombie's hand grabbed him and he screamed in pain, "Ah!" Overpowered by the zombie's strength, the fat hat guy was dragged outside, crying for help, "Boss, save me." The words had barely left his mouth when the zombie bit into his shoulder. Fresh blood sprayed everywhere as the horde of zombies immediately swarmed in. Li Tianbi's men turned around, but it was already too late. The small house was filled with nothing but screams, "Ah! Save me! Spare me!" Li Tianbi hastily fled, cursing, "Damn it! Bunch of idiots!" Watching the zombies tear the men to shreds, Xiao Xing cowered in a corner, sobbing boo-hoo. Meanwhile, outside, Wu Qiong shouted, "It's time." He used his strength to yank the bus into the air, and it crashed down with a loud bang, causing the horde of zombies to turn around. Wu Qiong emerged from the shadows, his eyes sharp and cold. As the frenzied zombies advanced, he calmly gripped a chain, planting his feet to prepare for an attack. With a murderous glint in his eyes, Wu Qiong swung the chain to clear out the zombies, shouting, "Hiya! Ah-ha!" The attack sent them flying amidst a cloud of dust and smoke. Wu Qiong dropped the chain, stood before the vehicle, and said, "Hey, listen everyone, I know you're all scared out of your wits after what just happened." He reassured them in a soft voice, "I'm going to turn off the lights in a bit, but whatever you do, don't be scared." Just then, a man switched on a flashlight and shone it on him. Blinded, Wu Qiong shielded his eyes with his hand and gave an annoyed look. Gasp. The terrified man dropped the flashlight, stammering, "Zom, zom." He then screamed in panic, "Zombie! Ah, quick, run away! Run for your lives!" Seeing the man's cowardice, Wu Qiong got annoyed. The other people started to get off the bus. A wounded Chi-E complained resentfully, "Hey, were you out of your mind? We were still on the bus." Chi-E's subordinate silently thanked his lucky stars that he was still alive. The doctor got off the bus and immediately began to vomit uncontrollably. Wu Qiong paid them no mind and walked forward. A man was struggling in pain under a large rock. Ugh, damn it. Seeing Wu Qiong approach, he trembled. Don't come over here." Wu Qiong calmly stepped through the open doorway. Xiao Xing was cowering in a corner, crying. He looked down at her indifferently, and the terrified little girl burst into tears. Boo-hoo. She saw his sharp claws and pleaded in a panic, "Don't eat me. Go away. Wu Qiong was stunned, his hand freezing in mid-air as his voice trembled. A wave of despair washed over Xiaoxing, and she screamed, "Help! Is anyone there? Is there anyone going to save Xiaoxing?" Clinging to a sliver of hope, he called out, "Xiaoxing." Suddenly, a voice rang out, "Big brother? Do you really not want Xiaoxing anymore?" Hearing the words "Big brother," Wu Qiong snapped back to his senses. He staggered back, looking at his little sister in agony. His legs gave out and he sank to his knees, lost in thought. The little girl wiped away her tears and said, "Xiaoxing is sorry." Realizing she didn't recognize him, Wu Qiong gave a bitter smile. "This monstrous appearance of mine must have terrified you, but seeing you so scared, your big brother doesn't know what to do." Beautiful memories flooded his mind as he blamed himself. Your brother is really, truly, so useless. The little girl sensed a familiar feeling, and after a moment's hesitation, she realized with a start that his silhouette looked just like her brother's. Xiaoxing stood up, reached out to touch his head, and called out, "Big brother." Wu Qiong was stunned. The little girl hugged him tightly, crying with pent-up emotion. "Big brother, please don't ever leave Xiaoxing again. Xiaoxing will be good. I promise I'll be good." Wu Qiong hugged his sister in anguish. "Xiaoxing, it's Big brother's fault." The little girl was still terrified. "Big brother, don't leave me." As the siblings embraced, he promised that he would never leave Xiaoxing again. Suddenly, Qi spoke up. "Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your touching reunion," he warned. "But don't you think that around here, things are getting a little strange?" Qi looked at the crowd of people scratching themselves furiously, as one of his men pointed and shouted, "Hey, look at that!" An older man was pinned under a rock, his leg twisted at an odd angle, groaning in pain. Wu Qiong handed Xiaoxing to Qi. "I'll go check on him." Qi replied, "All right, be careful." Xiaoxing called out worriedly, "Big brother." Wu Qiong approached the man and asked, "Hey, are you all right?" The man suddenly roared, "Meat! I want meat." Wu Qiong was taken aback. "What?" The man was drooling, desperate to eat. Realizing something was wrong, his eyes widened in shock. The man had turned into a zombie, roaring for flesh. Qi shouted a warning, "Be careful, he's already turned." Wu Qiong grabbed the man's head and slammed it into the ground, ordering, "You guys go on ahead." Qi agreed, "Right." He commanded his men, "Find a safe shelter, quick. Find somewhere you can barricade and hide." Outside the wall, the zombie horde advanced, moaning, "Hungry, so hungry." Wu Qiong pressed the turned man's head down hard. Seeing the man still struggling, he was shocked. "I can't believe he's this strong." The zombie opened its mouth and lunged at him. Wu Qiong gripped the zombie's face firmly and said, "I'm so sorry." Realizing the man couldn't be saved, he said with disappointment, "I should have just left you to die." With that, he twisted the man's head with a sharp crack. The body fell limp, and Wu Qiong looked up at the massive zombie horde. Wu Qiong thought, "There are too many of them turning. I have to catch up with Xiaoxing and the others quickly." Suddenly, a voice cried out, "Ugh, help me, I feel awful." A man who hadn't fully turned yet screamed in despair. "This can't be happening. We can't be turning. We made that little girl eat the meat first to test it." Hearing this, Wu Qiong stopped in his tracks and asked, "Xiaoxing, was her name Xiaoxing?" The man paid him no mind and continued to crawl forward. "I can't die," he begged. "Help, please help me," he shrieked. Radiating a murderous aura, Wu Qiong turned back. "Save you?" The man lunged forward. Wu Qiong growled coldly, "Save you?" With that, a resounding bam echoed through the air. The zombie's face immediately caved in. Before it could even fall, Wu Qiong moved like lightning and grabbed its arm. He delivered a powerful elbow drop, cleanly snapping the bone. He roared in fury, "Do you even deserve to be saved?" Meanwhile, Qi's group was completely surrounded by the horde. He screamed, "Close the door, now." The group rushed to shove the heavy door, slamming it shut with a loud thud. One of Qi's men sighed in relief. "We finally got it closed." But the person beside him worriedly said, "I don't think this door is going to hold for long." He turned to Qi, his voice filled with panic. "Qi, what do we do now?" Qi sighed helplessly. "It's come to this. What else can we do?" Suddenly, a man from behind stepped forward and grabbed Qi's shoulder. He snarled, "Damn it, you walking disaster," then slapped Qi hard across the face, yelling, "You actually have the nerve to show your face here again?" The underlings panicked. "Qi, brother E." A woman rushed forward to intervene. "What do you think you're doing?" It wasn't easy for him to make it back. "Stop hitting him." The doctor, looking bewildered, muttered, "What in the world is happening?" The man continued to berate the woman. "Are you still defending this piece of trash? Did this son of A bring the zombies here to wipe out our entire family?" With blood trickling from his mouth, Qi let out a cold smirk. "Humph, how strange. It's a rare day you consider us family." He wiped the blood from his lip, adding sarcastically, "And shouldn't a family all be together, right?" The scene cuts to a second-story window, where the metallic glint of a crossbow can be seen aiming down below. at the spot where Wu Qiang was single-handedly tearing through the zombie horde. Li Qianxi broke out in a cold sweat, thinking, damn it, what kind of monster is he? The movements were too fast to keep up with. Suddenly, a voice echoed from inside the room. Hey, I never thought this day would come so soon. Li Tianbi snapped. What did you just say? It was Xing Luo. The girl sneered. What? Am I wrong? You're used to eating zombies. Now it's their turn to eat you. Li Tianbi gritted his teeth and shouted, You! Xing Luo said nothing more, only looking at him. He burst into laughter. Ha ha. Then he suddenly tossed the crossbow aside, lunged forward and grabbed Xing Luo by the neck, growling. You know, you just love to go against me. That much has never changed. He leaned in close, demanding. Why must you always resist me? His hand traveled down her body. Why can't you learn to behave? Xing Luo yelped in shock, tears welling up as his hand touched her amputated knee. He threatened, Do you want me to break your remaining leg? He leaned in, whispering in her ear. Xing Luo froze, hesitating before saying, Just kill me already. Li Tianbi's eyes widened with rage as he threw her onto the bed. He shouted, Kill you, my ass. Stop saying such buzzkill things. Xing Luo gasped for air, coughing violently. Li Tianbi sighed and softened his tone. Okay, I was wrong. All right? He spoke gently. I promise, if you just behave, I won't treat you like this again, okay? His voice was laced with bitterness. Consider this, me begging you, Xing Luo. Don't be angry. And stop thinking about that useless bastard who's been dead for 6 months. He reached out to touch her face. Xing Luo bit his hand hard, making him scream, Ah! He cursed, You bitch. Xing Luo leaped off the bed and snatched the crossbow. Li Tianbi cried out in alarm, You! Xing Luo pointed the crossbow at her own neck, saying, I would rather die than stay with you. She prepared to shoot. Li Tianbi hastily grabbed for the crossbow, but one arrow had already shot out the window. He frowned, stunned, and asked, You'd really rather die than try to like me, even just a little bit? Xing Luo replied, That was the original plan, but it's no longer necessary. She calmly added, The arrow is already out. His eyes widened. Xing Luo's gaze was icy. The zombies will find you immediately. Her eyes were firm. Now, it's your turn to die. Right on cue, a scream came from outside the window. We're done for. Li Tianbi turned and rushed over to the window. He looked down, his eyes widening in shock. Below, all of his men had collapsed. The one responsible was holding the very arrow that had just been shot. That person's gaze locked directly onto Li Tianbi. He stammered in shock. Yes, it was Wu Qiang. He stumbled back, cursing, Damn it. Without another thought, he lunged forward and grabbed Xing Luo around the waist. He hoisted her onto his shoulder, ignoring her shouts. Let me go. His mind was in turmoil. How can this be? He was dead. I saw it with my own eyes. The image of Wu Qiang being torn to shreds by zombies flashed in his mind. Panicked, Li Tianbi ran down the stairs, grabbing a gun. As he burst outside, his mind was still screaming, Why is his ghost? Suddenly, his eyes widened as Wu Qiang rushed toward him at an incredible speed. Li Tianbi exclaimed, He's too fast. Looking at Wu Qiang's form, he thought, This guy isn't human. Abruptly, a roar sounded from behind him. He spun around to see a zombie charging at him and screamed, This is bad. At that moment, Wu Qiang glared and sent a powerful kick straight into the zombie's face. Li Tianbi, still carrying Xing Luo, stumbled and fell with a cry. One zombie was sent flying. Elsewhere, a blood-covered fist flew. Qi was mercilessly punching his own father in the face. His mother desperately clung to his leg, pleading, Stop hitting him. I'm begging you, son. The onlookers could only stand by and watch. His mother sobbed, Whatever he's done, he is still your real father. Qi yelled back coldly, He is not. He doesn't deserve to be. He asked his mother, Why do you think I risked my life to return? Then, pulling out a knife, he declared, It was to finish him, with my own 2 hands. Suddenly, the wooden wall shattered. Flying splinters hit Qi, making him yelp, ouch, and drop his knife. A zombie burst in, sprawling on the ground in a cloud of dust. Qi turned around angrily and saw Wu Kong standing there. He muttered, This is just great, and frowned. Do we really have to keep getting in each other's way? The scene was a wreck, with Xing Luo and Tianxi collapsed on the ground. Delirious, Xing Luo kept calling for Wu Kong in her dream, seeing visions of him being torn apart by zombies. She screamed. Behind a glass door, Wu Kong held Xiaoxing, wailing. Tianxi's henchmen stood nearby, stunned as Xiaoxing shrieked, Big bro! Tianxi ordered the man with the crowbar, Hey, break the glass now. The man smashed it. Tianxi pulled Xing Luo, Let's go. But she and Xiaoxing couldn't look away as Wu Kong was being mauled. Xiaoxing struggled, crying, I want to find my big bro. Let me go. The little girl cried and ran to find him, Big bro. A zombie lunged at her and Xiaoxing froze, too terrified to even cry. Xing Luo wrenched her hand away from Tianxi and dashed to the rescue. Just as the zombie opened its mouth to attack, Xing Luo reached them, and fresh blood splattered. Xing Luo hugged Xiaoxing tightly as they fell to the ground. Xiaoxing, hurt and scared, whimpered, "Ouch." Gritting her teeth, Xing Luo let out a soft groan, "Ugh." The little girl looked down and screamed in horror when she saw the zombie bite on Xing Luo's leg. "Sister Xing Luo." A trembling Xing Luo hugged Xiaoxing. Her eyes searched for Wukong as tears streamed down her cheeks, and she tried to crawl forward. She muttered, "Why? Why did it have to be like this?" Li Tianxi watched, stunned. The henchman with the axe panicked. "She's been bitten on the leg." Li Tianxi's eyes narrowed, his expression filled with bitter resentment. He snatched the axe from his henchman. "Give it to me." He and the bald guy charged the zombie. Li Tianxi gritted his teeth, swinging the axe. He roared, "Why did it have to be this way?" The bite on Xing Luo's leg was turning black, and he swung the axe with grim determination. The axe fell. Xing Luo's heart-wrenching scream echoed. "Ar!" Her severed leg lay motionless on the ground. Xing Luo sobbed, "Why? Why did it turn out like this?" She tremblingly reached for Wukong's silhouette. "Wukong, please, tell me." She struggled to crawl closer, calling, "Wake up." Gazing at his familiar back, she whispered, "Wukong." Her voice was like a plea, "Please, look at me." Wukong flinched and turned around. A screaming zombie was charging at Xing Luo from behind. Seeing the danger, she screamed. Wukong instantly lunged in front of her. Startled, Xing Luo looked as the zombie sank its teeth into his shoulder, drawing blood. Xing Luo stared blankly at the familiar yet strange figure. "You?" Qi swung his club, knocking the zombie away, and snorted, "Humph," getting in the way. Wukong leaned down close to Xing Luo. She was stunned, struggling to ask, "You're?" Wukong smiled, "I heard you." Xing Luo was stunned. "What?" He explained gently, "When you told me to wake up." Wiping the blood from her face, he added, "I really tried." "You're?" His voice was somber, but I couldn't control my body. Overwhelmed, Xing Luo's tears began to fall. Her hand trembled as she reached for him. Wukong caressed her face. Through her tears, Xing Luo asked, "You are?" Wukong replied with an apology. "I'm sorry, Xing Luo." She threw her arms around him, exclaiming, "It really is you." Wukong said regretfully, "This is all my fault." She hugged him tightly and cried out, "Wukong," he whispered. "I've made you suffer." Xing Luo shook her head. I don't blame you." She snuggled into his embrace. "I never blamed you, not once." Li Tianxi got to his feet, watching the couple with a heart full of bitter hatred. "Wukong, you're one tough cockroach to kill." He picked up the crossbow and gritted his teeth. "Wukong, if hell doesn't want you." He aimed the crossbow and shouted, "Then I'll send you there myself." Qi shouted a warning, "Wukong, look out." The arrow flew through the air. Wukong caught it with ease. Li Tianbi roared, "Damn it." Wukong said coldly, "Li Tianbi, long time no see." He stared at him, his voice sharp as ice. "Did you think that during all those days I was wandering around like a stray dog?" He gripped the arrow and with all his might hurled it at Li Tianbi, screaming, "I wasn't itching to kill you." The arrow impaled his shoulder, slamming him hard against the wall with a thud. Li Tianbi cried out as blood poured from the wound. The zombie stared over blankly, while Qi flashed a triumphant smile. Li Tianbi's eyes widened in disbelief, looking down at the arrow in his shoulder before roaring, "You bastard, you bastard." Argh. Xing Luo felt a brief moment of sympathy. Xiaoxing ran over, calling, "Big brother, big sister, Xing Luo." The little girl rushed into Wukong's arms, and he reassured her. She whispered, "Big brother, Xiaoxing was so worried about you." Wukong asked, "Xiaoxing, did they feed you?" Xiaoxing replied, "Zombie meat." He hesitated. "So you?" The little girl shook her head. "I didn't eat it." She explained, Xiaoxing secretly spat it out, "Because you told me what to do before, big brother." She repeated his advice, "If mom cooks something that doesn't taste good, you can hide it under your tongue first, and then secretly spit it out. That way you won't make her mad. That way, mom wouldn't have to worry about getting new wrinkles every day." Wukong's expression turned sorrowful, and Xiaoxing continued, "Big brother." Xiaoxing saw them. Mom and dad became zombies. They're never coming back. Her eyes welled up with tears. Those zombies that get eaten. They used to be someone else's mom and dad too, right? She burst into tears. "That's why Xiaoxing couldn't eat them. I absolutely won't eat them." Wukong fell silent, deep in thought. Xing Luo trembled with anger, shouting, "You bastard! Li Tianbi, you went back on your word. You promised you wouldn't harm Xiaoxing." Li Tianbi was silent for a moment before bursting into laughter. "Ha ha ha." His face then darkened with a sense of powerlessness. "Xing Luo, my dear Xing Luo, sometimes I wonder myself." He covered his eyes bitterly. "Why in the world did I have to fall for a stupid woman like you?" He buried his face in his hands and began to sob. Wukong stood silently. Qi stepped forward and violently ripped the arrow out, making Li Tianbi scream, "Ah!" Qi scoffed, "What's with the cheap theatrics? Don't you pull that crap with me." He raised the arrow, shouting, "Go perform your little play in hell." As the arrow plunged downward, blood splattered. Hong Mao lunged forward to block the attack, saving Li Tianbi. He declared, "Boss, I'll hold them off. You get out of here." The other subordinates rushed over yelling, "Boss." One of them yelled at Qi, "You ungrateful traitor. Did you forget who took you in?" Qi sneered. "Heh, I might have, if you hadn't brought it up." He drove the arrow down harder, snarling. "Now that you mention it, I'm even more furious." Hong Mao strained to hold him back, screaming, "Arg, stop it." He then turned to Qi's parents. "Are you two just going to stand there and watch him go insane? Don't you want to get to City B?" He threatened. "If you kill our boss, you can forget about ever entering City B." Qi's father tried to stop him. "You monster, stop it right now." Qi retorted sarcastically, "What's the matter? Are you disappointed I didn't kill you earlier?" The old man flew into a rage. "You beast, you still dare to talk back." He grabbed a pitchfork, screaming, "I'll kill you." He swung it, but a hand caught the weapon mid-air. The old man collapsed, screaming, "Aya!" A puddle of urine spread out from under him. He scrambled behind Qi's mother, stammering, Please, spare me." Qi clutched his sides and howled with laughter. "Ha ha, how pathetic." He jeered. The old man pissed himself, so disgusting. Seeing an opening, Hong Mao snatched the arrow and pointed it at Qi. "You're the one who should be pissing your pants." Qi sneered, "My, aren't you full of spirit?" He then slammed his knee into Hong Mao's stomach, causing him to cough up blood. "Gah!" Hong Mao grabbed onto Qi's arm, attaching a small explosive. Qi growled, "You're just a dog who picked the wrong master." Hong Mao smirked coldly. "Maybe, but it's enough if I can take a bite out of you." Qi was stunned. "Huh? What's that supposed to mean?" He then saw the explosive and his eyes widened in horror. Hong Mao's lips curled into a grin. Qi plunged the arrow into his face, screaming, "You want to die?" Li Tianbi yelled, "Hong Mao." Blood gushed out as Hong Mao crumpled to the ground. Qi stared at the hissing fuse on the explosive, his face draining of all color. "We're done for." "You were right, you really did manage to bite us." The underlings panicked. "Easy." Qi. A loud bang echoed, and Qi was thrown back. The explosion attracted zombies from a distance. Blood splattered everywhere as smoke and dust filled the air. One of his men called out to him, while Qi lay sprawled on the ground. Smoke rose from his hand as tears and snot streamed down his face. He groaned, "Damn it, it hurts so much." He clutched his arm and tried to sit up, but the pain made him collapse again, screaming, "It hurts so bad." He picked up a sharp piece of wood and started stabbing Hong Mao, roaring, "You damn mutt, I'm going to poke hundreds of holes in you." Wu Qiang rushed over to stop him. "Hey, that's enough." He reasoned, "He's already dead. Haven't you vented enough?" Qi screamed, "Let go of me. You think it's over just because he's dead? Will his death make my hand heal?" Wu Qiang continued, "Hey, stop causing trouble." Qi slapped him, retorting, "My body is priceless. He couldn't afford to even touch it." Wu Qiang said helplessly, "Is this really the time to be acting like such a brat?" Qi gradually calmed down, burying his face in Wu Qiang's chest and sobbing. "I don't understand," he sniffled. "My skin has to be perfect, without any scars." Wu Qiang lifted the boy's scorched hand and turned to the doctor. "Can you take a look and see if this arm can still be used?" The man was startled. "Huh? Oh, okay." He examined the hand. "Well, the bone isn't injured, but the flesh is burned." Qi burst out crying. "Wah!" Wu Qiang tried to console him. "All right, stop crying already. Where did all that energy you had while stabbing that guy go?" The doctor suddenly shouted, "Incoming." And then a horde of zombies rushed toward them. The man realized the explosion from earlier must have attracted them. He turned. "Hey, what should we do? And why is he still crying?" Wu Qiang answered, "We hide first." He handed Qi to one of his men. "Take him to the front yard and hide." The man replied, "Got it." Immediately, Wu Qiang called out, "Shaoxing Xingluo." He quickly grabbed both of them with his arms and said firmly, "Hold on tight." Meanwhile, Li Tianxian's underlings quickly helped him to his feet, sneakily trying to find another escape route. Seeing this, Wu Qiang's lips curled into a cold smirk as he spoke. "Hey, are you all looking to die?" A panicked underling stammered, What? Wu Qiang narrowed his eyes and continued, "I can help you save him, but there's a fee." Just 1 month later, outside, zombies were still roaming around hunting for the living, while in the yard, a mountain-like pile of fireworks and explosives stood tall. A voice rang out, "All the explosives we were carrying are here now." Hearing that, Wu Qiang cast a suspicious look toward Li Tianxian's underlings. They were now stripped down to their underwear, desperately trying to prove their honesty. "We really don't have any left." Suddenly, one of Chi-Yi's men exclaimed, "Ugh, why'd you bring a zombie corpse in here?" The person next to him replied, "Big bro zombie said it has a use." The moment he finished speaking, Wu Qiang raised his sharp claws and thrust them straight into the zombie's chest. He yanked his hand out, splattering blood everywhere, and walked over to one of Li Tianxin's men. Wu Qiang smeared the red blood on the man's face. He stammered in terror. What are you doing?" Ignoring him, Wu Qiang gave a cold order. "All of you, cover yourselves in this blood. Where is this village's explosives warehouse? Take me to it." The stunned underling asked in confusion. "How did you know there was a warehouse here?" Wu Qiang replied curtly, "Stop wasting time." He then pointed to the pile of fireworks. A variety of fireworks like this. "I've only ever seen it at wholesale markets right before the Lunar New Year." After speaking, he tied Li Tianxin's hands tightly and gave the other end of the rope to Chi-Yi. He didn't forget to remind the underlings, "The zombie blood can temporarily mask your scent, but it won't last long." Turning to Chi-Yi, he instructed, "When we lure the zombies from outside in here, you lead everyone and run back to our bus as fast as possible." Chi-Yi nodded and replied, "You better worry about yourself. If you get blown to bits, who's going to drive?" Xiaoxing, nestled in Xing Luo's arms, called out worriedly, "Big brother." Wu Qiang walked over, patted her head, and gently reassured her. "Xiaoxing, don't you worry. This time, I won't leave you alone again." Hearing this, the little girl's heart softened, and she whispered, "Mm-hmm." He turned to Xing Luo, "Take good care of yourself and wait for me to come back." Xing Luo reached out and gently caressed Wu Kong's face, her voice hesitant. "Mm-hmm, you too. Absolutely, don't get hurt again." Her finger touched the wound above Wu Kong's eye, and a few drops of blood fell into his eye. Wu Kong instinctively rubbed his eye and gasped. Xing Luo asked worriedly, "What's wrong?" Chi frowned in suspicion. "That can't be, right? Can a zombie actually feel pain?" Li Tianbi's underlings came over and asked nervously, "Hey, are we going out now?" "There are more and more zombies outside." Wu Kong clenched his fist, his voice low. "This is the moment we've been waiting for." He shoved a few blocks of explosives into their hands and gave an order. "Take everything with you." With that said, he led the three men out the door, his voice firm, "Go." Wu Kong silently observed the desolate village before him. The guy with the buzz cut looked at him and asked doubtfully, "Can we really trust this zombie scent on you? Are you sure they won't bite us?" Wu Kong tilted his head reassuringly. "Of course, they can't detect us beyond 2 meters. Hearing this, the three guys yelled in panic. What do you mean? What about within 2 meters? What if they get too close?" Wu Kong gritted his teeth impatiently and hissed, "What else can we do?" He raised a finger, and a flame erupted from it. "If you don't want to get bitten," his eyes turned sharp and cold, his bloodshot eye full of menace, "then bring out that zombie-killing prowess of yours." The flame on his finger lit the fuse of the explosive, and the whole bucket of firecrackers was thrown towards the horde of zombies. Wu Kong yelled, "Run!" The firecrackers landed, setting off earth-shattering explosions. Wu Kong led the group as they bolted, and one of them looked back to see the horde of zombies in hot pursuit. He screamed in panic, "Whoa, the zombies are catching up from behind." Wu Kong grabbed his arm, spun him around, and ordered, "Run to the fireworks warehouse. Don't look back." All around them, a chain of explosions roared continuously as they ran and screamed in terror. One of them was so scared he started crying, cursing as he ran. "Son of a b. Wukong, you zombies are all rotten to the core." Wukong wasn't angry, he actually laughed. The scene shifts to Chi-Yi. After the series of deafening explosions, the door to their hiding place slowly opened. Chi-Yi's white hair peeked out as he silently observed the outside. One of the underlings spoke up, "Brother E, it looks like all the zombies have been lured away." Looking into the distance, they could see the zombie horde had been driven off, leaving only a quiet, empty space. They cheered, "It's safe over there for now." Chi-Yi, holding Xiaoxing, gave a firm command, "Go." The group headed towards an old bus with shattered windows. An underling volunteered to open the bus door, shouting, "Get on, quickly." He turned back and called out anxiously, "Brother E, get on the bus." A glint appeared in Chi-Yi's eyes. He grabbed Li Tianbi by the scruff of his neck, making him yelp in fear. "Ow!" Chi-Yi moved in close, his voice as cold as ice. "Where did you put my stuff? Take me to it now." Li Tianbi was so scared he was on the verge of tears, just staring at him. Night fell, and the warehouse was silent. The exhausted group pushed open the door, exclaiming, "We're here." Wukong entered first, followed by Li Tianbi's 3 panting underlings. They asked, "This is the fireworks warehouse, what's next?" Wukong wiped the blood from his forehead. The guy with the buzz cut spoke up curiously, "Hey man, you." Just then, a massive zombie burst through the door. The whole group screamed in panic. It's in." The chubby guy, trembling, held an explosive and lit the fuse. "No, it's okay. We have explosives. Blow it up." He threw the explosive at the zombie, seeing how unusually large it was. But it's too late, don't. This thing is too big. The explosive went off with a loud bang, knocking the zombie back, but the sound attracted the entire horde from outside. Seeing the massive army of zombies, the group was terrified, their faces contorted in fear. We're doomed. The zombie that was hit by the explosive was completely unharmed, and slowly got up to charge forward again. The group screamed, "Wah!" Wukong rushed out, grabbed the zombie by its hair, and violently threw it to the side. He continued to beat it relentlessly, and looking at the zombies outside, an idea sparked in his head. Wukong grabbed the large zombie and used it as a weapon, throwing it straight at the remaining zombies. Seeing this, his underlings' jaws dropped in amazement, and without a moment's hesitation, Wukong commanded, "Grab the explosives and follow me." Inside the dilapidated warehouse after the explosion, 3 underlings gathered in a corner, carefully dividing blocks of explosives from a sack. One even strapped explosives tightly to his shoulder, looking just like a suicide bomber. The zombies outside weren't easy to deal with. They looked through the window and sighed in frustration. Thick smoke and dust obscured their vision, with zombies lurking silently outside. "Having to take them out one by one is such a pain," one of them muttered. Wukong's gaze was ice cold as he pointed to the largest firework on the buzzcut guy's shoulder and ordered, "Give that to me." The buzzcut guy quickly took it off and handed it over. Seeing Wukong shoulder the launcher and step outside, he spoke up worriedly. "Hey, going out like this is too risky. Shouldn't we make a plan first?" Wukong turned back, a sharp glint in his eyes, and said in a flat tone, "A plan doesn't need to be that complicated." The buzzcut guy caught his terrifying gaze and stumbled back in fear, stammering, his eyes. Wukong walked through the ruins carrying the barrel of explosives and said coldly, "In a critical moment like this, my eyes can detect heat signatures." He looked straight ahead, his voice booming, "Either way, we've got to make a grand exit." With that, he launched the barrel of explosives into the sky, and instantly, the sky lit up with a brilliant firework display as bright as day. The zombies were caught by surprise and sent tumbling. Wukong held the launcher tightly, charging straight towards the zombies, each firework shooting out like a relentless barrage of bullets. Everyone who witnessed this scene couldn't help but be in awe. "Oh my god!" Wukong's fighting spirit soared as he yelled, "A quick and decisive victory." Clusters of fireworks shot up, creating a heroic scene that blazed white across the entire sky. Xing Luo, Xiao Xing and the others watched the spectacular fireworks in awe, exclaiming, "Wow!" On the bus, Qi Yi's underlings looked through the window and cheered. "Look, you guys, it looks like they're back." Cheers echoed through the smoke and dust. "They're back. They've made it back." But suddenly, a middle-aged man noticed something was wrong and shouted urgently, "No, wait!" Charred zombies screamed in pain as they charged towards them through the smoke. The group panicked. "We're screwed. They're mutants." Just then, 2 ropes shot out from behind the zombies, wrapping tightly around their necks. A strong force dragged them across the ground. Wukong, holding the ropes, slowly emerged from the smoke. He attached explosives to the ropes, and with a running start, pushed them towards the mutants. The zombies screamed helplessly, unaware of the imminent danger, and in the blink of an eye, their heads exploded from the force of the explosives. The zombies groaned and collapsed at his feet. Everyone was thrilled. Wukong stepped forward, dusted off his hands, and declared the job done. Xiao Xing and Xing Luo cheered excitedly. "Brother Wukong!" But a voice rang out that caught his attention. "No, it's not over yet." Wukong glanced to his left, confused. Qi Yi was standing next to Li Tianyi, climbing up to jump through the window, hugging something tightly. He looked at Wukong and said sheepishly, "Could you give me a hand?" Wukong was speechless at his goofy expression, but reached out and helped Qi Yi down. The clusters of fireworks still lit up the sky, and the villagers watched in awe. I never would have dreamed I'd see fireworks like this in the apocalypse. The people looked at Wukong and Qi Yi, their eyes sparkling as if they were looking at 2 saviors. Suddenly, the rope wrapped around Qi Yi's hand went taut, pulling him to the ground. It turned out he had tied Li Tianyi's hand to his own. Li Tianyi fell on top of Qi Yi, making them both cry out in pain. "Ouch." Qi Yi looked at Wukong standing there nonchalantly and trembled. She stammered, "You frowned even though I was defending you," instantly regretting it as the surrounding crowd sighed, at a loss for words. Xiao Jing rushed into Wu Qiong's arms, sweetly calling him big brother. Wu Qiong picked her up, walked over to the glass door, and looked at Jing Luo, saying gently, "Xiao Jing, Jing Luo, I'm back. We're leaving this place right now." Watching the heartwarming reunion, Qi Yi cursed under his breath. Damn it, some people get a happy family of 3, while others are as miserable as a dog. He rubbed his aching shoulder from the fall when a drop of water suddenly landed on his hand. Startled, Qi Yi looked up. Chilling raindrops were falling, and he stood in the downpour, feeling the cool water as he muttered, "It's raining." The heavy downpour washed over the rubble, as if trying to cleanse the brutality of the battle. The overwhelming stench of roasted zombie flesh filled the air, making the villagers dazed. The doctor was stunned. Huh. Wu Qiang came over and put a hand on his shoulder. What are you doing? Get in the car. The doctor snapped out of it. Huh? Oh, okay. But the chaos behind them caught their attention. A mutated person screamed, "Let me go. I want to eat." Chi-Yi's men held him down tightly, shouting, "Someone's infected." The doctor panicked. This is bad. The smell of zombie flesh spread, as if hypnotizing the villagers. They began to scream, "Hungry, so hungry. We have to eat meat." Wu Qiang ran over to check on the situation. Hearing the doctor's conclusion that the smell of roasted zombie flesh was making them lose their sanity, he frowned skeptically. How can that be? But they've never eaten zombie meat, have they? Suddenly, a voice rang out that stunned Wu Qiang. Who says you have to eat it to get infected? Like a pack of starving animals, the villagers lunged at the mutated ones. Eat. I want to eat. The doctor pushed up his glasses, his expression grim. Do you really think the first person who thought of eating zombie meat was just that brave? He then recounted a traumatic memory from the beginning of the apocalypse. 2 weeks after the disaster struck, inside a desolate hospital, the doors to the rooms were locked tight. He and his colleagues were barricaded inside with only a few snacks remaining. He pulled out the last chocolate bar, but just as he was about to take a bite, a hand snatched it away. A thug, holding a broken glass bottle, threatened him. What are you looking at? Got a problem? The doctor helplessly recalled the vicious struggle, as the thug had stolen the chocolate to give to his lover. Here, baby, go ahead and eat. But the girl refused, saying, Don't give it all to me. Look at you, you're already so frail. The thug laughed. It's okay, your husband is plenty strong. My stomach can digest anything. This little snack won't satisfy me. But the doctor knew he was lying. The man bent down, stroking his wife's pregnant belly. Let our child have it. If our son eats sweets now, he'll be a filial son in the future. The wife cooed, Honey. She agreed to eat it. Okay, I'll thank you on behalf of our baby. But the doctor noticed the man was at his limit. His eyes glazed over, and he collapsed. The wife hugged him, sobbing, Honey, you can't die. The baby and I can't lose you. The other doctors were helpless. Save him? How? We're all going to die soon. The wife clutched her husband's body tightly. I don't care if I die, but what about our baby? Suddenly, the husband stirred, his eyes empty as he mumbled, Smells. So good. The doctor was puzzled. The wife, confused, asked, Honey, what are you talking about? The man collapsed to the floor, repeating, Smells so good. He sniffed at a scent coming from outside the door, drool streaming down his chin. He bolted out, leaving the door wide open. Everyone panicked. What do we do now? What's happened to him? The wife fell to the floor, crying her husband's name. She ran out after him, ignoring everyone's pleas to stop her, when a piercing scream echoed through the hall. Ah, ah, ah. The doctor looked on in horror as the wife trembled. Her husband. He was pinning down one of the infected and eating it raw. The wife retched violently, calling his name. He turned around, his mouth dripping with blood, his eyes completely inhuman. He lunged at his wife as she screamed, Ah, 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 ah. Blood sprayed everywhere. The doctor clutched his head in the rain, trying to block out the horrifying memory. I'll never forget it. He devoured his own beloved wife. Meanwhile, Chi-Yi's men were desperately trying to restrain the villagers, shouting, Don't eat it. But they still devoured the helpless doctor, just like these people. They'll be finished sooner or later. Wu Qiang broke out in a cold sweat, remembering his own parents. On the other side, Chi-Yi's father was ravenously chewing on flesh, while his mother tried to call out to her husband. Suddenly, someone grabbed her hand. She snapped, Let go. But upon seeing Chi-Yi, her voice softened air. She pleaded, Save your father. You're smart. You must have a way, right? Chi stood in the rain, his voice low. If you want to save him, you have to answer one question honestly. He looked at his father and asked, 15 years ago, that night, Did you ever beg him to save me? His mother trembled, her eyes filled with panic. After a moment, Chi-Yi continued, When he was doing those things, to me, did you ever plead for my sake? He pulled his hand away, and his mother burst into tears. Air! She screamed, I had no other choice. If I had saved you back then, I wouldn't have survived either. Chi-Yi gave a cold laugh. Yeah, that's what I thought. His expression darkened. In our family, no one can save anyone. He pushed his mother towards his men. Watch her. Then he picked up a sharp iron bar and walked towards his father. The man was chewing ravenously. Kek kek. So delicious. Nom nom. It's really so delicious. Chi-Yi clicked his tongue. Oh, it's been a while since I've seen this look. Watching his father eat like an animal, he said with contempt. So pathetic, living without any shame. Truly a pig waiting to be slaughtered. He swung the iron bar and stabbed down. His father looked up, licking the blood from his lips. He stared at him hungrily. Hey. Chi-Yi covered his mouth, suppressing his nausea. That expression is so disgusting. Tears fell from his eyes as he remembered his painful past. 15 years ago, his father's chilling laughter. Hey, 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 what a resilient little kitten. A little girl with white hair was hung up and beaten. A cruel man yelled, let's pull out all your claws and see if you can still scratch people. Ha ha ha. Chi-Yi's father stood by, licking his lips, a lecherous look in his eyes. Whoa, what a fine piece of merchandise. He rubbed his hands together fawningly. Mr. Lee, are you satisfied? The thing you promised me. The man named Lee ordered his underlings to throw down a few red packets. Chi-Yi's father scrambled on his knees to pick them up. Ha ha ha. The man named Lee looked at the little girl, laughing wickedly. He. Exquisite. He wiped her tears, skin as white as porcelain. It looked so beautiful mixed with blood. The little girl bit his hand, drawing blood, and the man screamed, ah. He slapped her. You little bitch, you dare bite me. He licked the blood, his gaze malicious. All right, you like it rough. He ran his hand up her leg. How about we get down to business, little treasure? The little girl screamed, let go, you bastard. Don't touch me. The man laughed. He. You're already disgusting now, but you're about to get even more disgusting. He lifted her skirt, stunned, and cursed. Son of. He turned to Chi-Yi's father, who was high on drugs and giggling foolishly. Hey. The man stomped his head to the ground. You you dare to trick me. Chi-Yi's father was dazed. What, didn't you say this kid was pretty? The man named Lee threw him against the wall. I want a girl, not a boy. Chi-Yi's mother screamed. His father. The man named Lee cursed. Do you think I'm some kind of pervert? He looked at the pile of drugs on the floor with regret. What a waste. Chi-Yi's mother knelt and begged, I beg you, please spare us. The man held a knife to her throat. Don't you people know what I can't stand? He pressed the knife, drawing blood, as his mother pleaded, don't kill me. Chi-Yi's father snatched the knife, his mind hazy. Didn't you complain he has something extra? I have a way. The man named Lee was skeptical. You do? Chi-Yi's father pointed at him and cursed. Damn it, you little jinx. Have you brought anything but bad luck since the day you were born? Chi-Yi was terrified. No. He lifted the boy's dress, holding the knife. Hey, it's just a one-cut job. Chi-Yi screamed, no, don't. He begged his mother, Mom, tell him to stop. But his mother, threatened by Mr. Lee's glare, remained silent. The man named Lee laughed. How interesting. Chi-Yi struggled. Let go. His father was like a butcher. Daughter, just bear with it for a moment. I've raised you for so long, now it's time for you to show your filial piety. Chi-Yi screamed. You dare. A cruel laugh echoed. Ha. But Chi-Nga screamed, if you dare, I will never forgive you. Now, seeing her mutated father charge at her, Chi-Nga cried out in despair. But Wukong was faster, snatching the iron bar and pulling him aside. He swung the bar, throwing it hard enough to pierce through Chi-Yi's father's chest. The man collapsed, and his underlings were stunned. Wukong hoisted Chi-Yi onto his shoulder, looking at the body without a word. A follower asked worriedly, Brother Yi, Wukong cut him off. Get in the car, we'll talk on the way. Chi-Yi let the rain drench him, wiping the water from his face. It was unclear if it was rain or tears. The scene changes. At dusk, with the clanking of chains, the vehicle was pulled to a mountain cave. One of Li Tianxian's men shouted, it's a mountain cave. Everyone got out of the vehicle and filed inside. One person said excitedly, this is great. Another added that at least they had a place to take shelter. Look, Wukong helped Xing Luo down, telling her to be careful. He supported Xing Luo with one hand and carried Xiao Xing with the other. He said gently, let's go inside. Xing Luo smiled. Okay. He glanced back at Chi-Yi behind them. Yes. Inside the cave, Wukong told Xiao Xing, stay here with your big sister. Call for big brother if you need anything. Xiao Xing obediently replied, okay. He turned around, his expression vigilant. Outside, Wukong looked at the vehicle and then saw Chi-Yi brooding by the river. The wind blew the leaves around. The sound of his footsteps caught Chi's attention. He said seriously, there might still be zombies nearby. I'll take the night watch tonight. Consider it repaying the favor for you saving me. Wukong asked, and then secretly cry your eyes out. Chi-Yi was startled and a bit embarrassed. What are you talking about? Wukong sat down next to him. I'll stay with you. I don't need to sleep anyway. Chi-Yi was surprised, then returned to his pensive state. Suddenly, he spoke up. Hey, you don't really think I was crying because that father of mine died, do you? Wukong was surprised. Huh? Weren't they tears of joy then? Chi-Yi burst out laughing. I've got to hand it to you. Looking at the landscape in the twilight, he said, when I first met you, I thought your eyes showed no emotion at all. There are so many people in the world, yet you're the most peculiar. Wukong listened. Chi-Yi smiled. As expected, the person who sympathizes with me is no ordinary man. Wukong was confused. Are you saying you're special? Chi-Yi snapped. What did you say? Wukong leaned back nonchalantly. I'm saying, don't get me wrong. I don't sympathize with you. He looked at the sky thoughtfully. But I know this world has too many things that you just can't make sense of. Images of him being beaten by Li Tianxian flashed by, followed by the image of his parents turning into zombies. Some people are strong, some are weak. 1 second you're full of hope, the next it's all shattered. He gave a cold laugh. None of it makes any sense. He looked at his own hands. But as long as you exist, you still have to find a reason to keep going. Turning to Qi, I think you just want to live a better life too. Qi sighed. Hey, do you want to hear my story? Wukong stood up. No. Qi angrily slammed the ground. No way. Sit down. You have to listen. Night began to fall. Inside the cave, everyone gathered around a fire. The blonde-haired guy yawned. It's been a while since I slept well. The black-haired guy replied, it's about time we rested. Tomorrow we'll go out and find food. Xiao Xing slept soundly in Xing Luo's arms, sleep-talking, big brother. Li Tianxian's group rested wearily, but Tianxian secretly held a sharp piece of glass, plotting something. By the riverbank, Wukong and Qi kept their fire going and continued their conversation. Qi said softly, from the moment he came at me with that knife, I knew I would kill him sooner or later. Wukong frowned, then suddenly pointed at Qi. Is your junk still there? Qi yelled, damn it, can't you get the point? Is that really what's important here? Wukong retorted, it's very important. You said so much, but that's the only thing I care about. Qi said confidently, yeah, of course, it's still there. That crazy old man's hands were shaking like a leaf. How could he have hurt me? Wukong looked puzzled. Qi got angry. Where are you looking? You don't believe me, do you? Right after, Qi moved to pull down his pants to prove it. His voice was resolute. No, I absolutely have to show you. Wukong hurriedly stopped him. Absolutely not. Fine, I believe you, okay? But he carelessly tripped, grabbing onto Qi's pants to regain his balance. His pants slipped down, revealing bright strawberry print underwear. The sight made Wu Qiang jump back awkwardly. The two sat silently by the riverbank, saying nothing. Wu Qiang glanced worriedly at Qi's thighs, which were covered in crisscrossing scars. Noticing his gaze, Qi said irritably, if you still don't believe me, I'll take off my underwear for you to see. Wu Qiang asked, are those scars on your thighs from that time? Qi calmly nodded. Yeah, that's right. Memories flooded back as Qi remembered his father's addiction flaring up. Drops of fresh red blood fell to the ground as his father's voice rang out, almost there, almost there. The old man held a knife, muttering with a drug-fueled daze, I told you not to struggle. Look, it's all torn up now. Qi continued his story in a bitter tone. I was dizzy, my vision was blurry, and I couldn't stand straight, but it was enough to fool him. After fumbling around for a bit, his father muttered, hiss. I think I cut it off, but the price was steep. Thinking he had chopped off my private parts, he gleefully reported to his boss, it's all done. Are you interested now? The perverted blonde man scolded, now that he's a wreck like this, what appetite do I have left? His father pleaded, don't say that. It wasn't easy for me. Qi cut in, his voice cold. I'd rather have this hideous body for life than be like him, like a neutered dog. In the memory, the man surnamed Li kicked his father in the face, shouting, get lost. The old man pressed his face to the ground, sniffing and then bursting into laughter. Aha, this feels so good. A little more, it's not enough. A subordinate asked, sir, should we dispose of him? The guy replied, no need. He's more interesting like this than dead. Then he ordered them to leave. The subordinate bowed, yes sir. The innocent look in young Qi's eyes gradually turned sharp as he gritted his teeth. For every cut he made on my body, I will one day pay him back twofold. Suddenly, Wu Qiang slapped his thigh. A bewildered Qi asked, what are you doing? Wu Qiang pointed, a mosquito. Qi blushed and shouted, hey, what are you implying? Just then, a strange sound made Wu Qiang turn his head. Qi asked, what is it? He frowned, something feels off. A moment later, he said, someone drove off with the car. Qi exclaimed, what? Wu Qiang immediately grabbed his hand and pulled him down to the ground, startling Qi, who yelped. Whoa, what are you doing? Wu Qiang held up Qi's bloody hand. Let me borrow your blood for a bit. He pressed the bloody hand against his left eye. Elsewhere, the car was speeding through the forest night. Xiao Jing was crying loudly. Big brother, help me, the fat guy yelled. You brat, quiet down. Another man tied up Jing Luo, saying, sister-in-law, our apologies. The driver looked back and said, don't worry, boss. We're a long way from the cave now. He floored the accelerator, his hands gripping the steering wheel. Good thing you know how to hotwire it. This car is ours now. Li Tianbi clenched his fist, his expression grim, as Xiao Jing continued to cry out, big brother, save us. My big brother won't let you get away with this. Li Tianbi turned and snapped, shut up, or do you want me to hit you? The blonde guy leaned in, Boss, this kid won't stop screaming. What if she leads her brother to us? Hearing this, Li Tianbi's eyes narrowed. He got up, walked over to Jing Luo, and stopped in front of her. Jing Luo looked up, meeting his gaze with a cold, sharp stare. Li Tianbi ordered, "Tell her to shut up." Jing Luo sneered. "What's the matter? I thought you'd already run far away. Are you still scared?" At her words, Li Tianbi became so enraged that veins bulged on his forehead as he roared. "Damn it, am I just asking for trouble talking to you?" He changed his target and went straight for Xiao Jing. "Fine, I won't bother you. Can't I just do it myself?" Terrified, Xiao Jing screamed. "Let me go, stay away from me. My big brother will never forgive you." Without any hesitation, Li Tianbi struck the little girl hard across the face. Witnessing this, Jing Luo screamed in horror. "Li Tianbi, you're a real bastard. If you have a problem, come at me. Don't you dare touch a child." He paused, replying coldly to Xing Luo. "Do you not understand the situation? From now on, forget the child." He glanced over, his voice sharp as ice. "I won't go easy on you either." The scene shifts back to the cave, where Qi's underlings are fast asleep, drooling all over. Qi, furious, landed a powerful kick to the blonde guy's chest, yelling, "Sleep! Sleep! Is that all you do?" He cracked his knuckles, gritting his teeth. "He was taken right under your noses. A squawking chicken would be more useful than you." The blonde guy stammered, Who was taken?" A moment later, "That zombie and I are now in a symbiotic relationship, so Li Tianxi must be captured." Meanwhile, on a forest road, a bus was speeding along when it suddenly hit a large rock, jostling everyone inside. "Oh my god." One of the henchmen yelled, "Drive properly, will you?" The driver retorted irritably, "You drive if you're so good. We're deep in the forest. There's no road anymore." He squinted into the dark woods, his voice anxious. "Damn, this is scary. What if something suddenly jumps out?" Before he could finish his sentence, a figure emerged from the darkness. The buzz-cut guy panicked. "Oh my god." He slammed on the brakes, the tires screeching as the leaped through the right side door, rushing in. The fat guy's face was drained of all color. Wu Qiong swung his fist and landed a heavy blow, sending the man rolling to the back of the bus, unconscious. Ugh, ah. Before the terrified eyes of Li Tianxi's group, Wu Qiong's eyes burned with fury. Her ropes were untied, and Xiao Xing rushed into Wu Qiong's arms. "Brother." "Xiao Xing," he looked gently at his little sister. "Does your face hurt a lot?" Xiao Xing smiled brightly. "It doesn't hurt. Now that you're here, it doesn't hurt anymore." Suddenly, Li Tianxi grabbed Xing Luo, pressed a shard of glass to her neck, and yelled, "Wu Qiong." He said sternly, "You want this to end in mutual destruction? Is that it?" Wu Qiong was silent for a moment, then sighed. "Li Tianxi, Xiao Xing told me before that you cut off Xing Luo's leg to save her. I thought that even though you're a bastard, you at least had something you wanted to protect." Li Tianxi's eyes widened. "What?" Wu Qiong slowly walked forward. "And now you're hurting the very person you once wanted to protect." He yelled, "Don't come any closer." Wu Qiong's eyes were filled with sorrow. Why, in the end? Seeing he wasn't stopping, Li Tianxi roared, "Damn it, I told you not to come closer. Don't force my hand." He pressed the glass shard harder against Xing Luo's neck, drawing blood. Xing Luo grunted in pain. "Ugh." Xiao Xing cried out in panic, "Sister Xing Luo." Li Tianbi lowered the shard of glass and said in a deep voice, "How did I end up like this?" He looked at Wu Qiong. "Don't you know why?" His eyes were filled with resentment. "I was born the chosen one. No matter what, if I wanted something, I could have it all. I could have been a conqueror and had the woman I desired. But a stinking maggot like you destroyed everything." He laughed bitterly. "Haha, what's so hard to understand? If you want something, you protect it. If you can't have it, you destroy it. It's as simple as that." Xing Luo suddenly grabbed his hand. Li Tianbi's eyes widened in surprise as she said, "Have I ever told you that I hate your arrogant, self-satisfied look the most?" She looked at Wu Qiong. "Wu Qiong, my friend, it's been a while, hasn't it?" he whispered. "Xing Luo." She smiled. "It's okay, I'll help you remember." Her voice turned serious. "I'm not some damsel in distress." She jabbed her finger into the wound on Li Tianbi's shoulder, making him cry out in pain as she broke free from his grasp. Xing Luo shouted, "I'm not some weak girl who just sits around waiting to be rescued." She slammed an elbow into his jaw, sending him stumbling backward. Wu Qiong's eyes widened. As Li Tianbi staggered, Xing Luo spun around and drove her knee into his chest. Blood sprayed from his mouth as he screamed. "Ah!" Li Tianbi collapsed. Xing Luo panted, "Li Tianbi, you've misunderstood. I held back not because I was afraid of you, but because." She looked at Xiao Xing and Wu Qiong, her gaze softening. "I have people more worthy of my protection." Xiao Xing looked on in admiration. "Big sis, Xing Luo." Both brothers gave her a thumbs up in praise. The scene shifts to the bus back at the mountain cave, where Li Tianbi was thrown inside, crying out, "Ah!" His underling rushed to support him. "Boss, The black-haired guy asked Chi-E, what should we do with him? Chi-E drew his knife. Kill him. The guy with the buzz cut threatened. You dare kill our boss? Don't you want to enter City B anymore? Chi-E's face flushed with anger. I hate being threatened. He lunged with the knife toward Li Tianbi, yelling, I'm not going to that dump anyway. Wu Qiang stopped him. Before you kill him, you should explain this City B business. Chi-E took out a suitcase he'd gotten from the village. Wu Qiang was surprised. What is this? Chi-E replied, everything you want to know is in here. He opened the lock, and children's clothes and toys tumbled out. An old sock landed on Wu Qiang's head, and he said helplessly, since when is a stinky old sock considered a treasure? Did a zombie die in this thing? Chi-E said, embarrassed. So what if a guy has a lot of clothes? He rummaged inside and pulled out a radio. Found it. Wu Qiang was surprised. A radio. Chi-E pressed a button. A crackling static was heard, then a voice came on. This is City B Radio. On day 78 of the apocalypse, we have not yet fallen. This place has ample supplies and strong defenses. If you're hearing this message, please come to City B. We can accommodate 20,000 people. Chi-E turned off the radio. That was a broadcast from last month. It's an old machine, so the audio isn't clear, and the information after that was pretty garbled. He tossed the radio to Wu Qiang. He remarked, a model from 2009 that can record itself? This thing is a real antique. He then asked, but what does this have to do with him? Chi-E pointed at Li Tianbi. Coincidentally, the ruler of City B is his father. Li Tianbi flashed a smug grin. Wu Qiang punched him right in the mouth. You were asking for that? Chi-E chimed in, I hate guys who act all high and mighty. The guy with the buzz cut warned, don't you dare touch our boss. When we get to City B, we'll tell our boss's father. Hearing that, the expressions on Wu Qiang's and Chi-E's faces darkened, and they fell silent for a moment. Suddenly, Chi-E drew his knife, his eyes flashing with cruel excitement. In that case, I'll just kill all of you. His insane words made the underlings shout in panic, you're dead. Wu Qiang quickly intervened, his voice low and cold. That's enough. The one thing this world isn't short on is dead people. Chi-E scoffed in annoyance and reluctantly lowered his knife, his gaze still sharp and cold. Looking at Li Tianbi trembling from his wounds, Wu Qiang thought to himself that they still had their uses. Nearby, the fat guy was still unconscious, not moving at all. A moment later, Wu Qiang walked over to everyone and said in a soft but firm voice, the road to City B is still very long. We can't just let women and children go out to find food. As he spoke, he glanced meaningfully at the woman holding a skinny child. Suddenly, Li Tianbi yelled, if you want to kill me, then just kill me. He furiously shouted, it's not your place to threaten me. His subordinate behind him called out worriedly, boss. Wu Qiang just gave a cold glance, stepping closer to the trembling subordinate, causing him to exclaim in fear, he's coming over. Wu Qiang glared and growled, Li Tianbi, you really want to die, don't you? He gritted his teeth and replied defiantly, better than living under your boot. Wu Qiang leaned down, his voice low and deep, so, when do you think you'll die? Li Tianbi was stunned, stammering, what? Without a moment's hesitation, Wu Qiang lunged forward, grabbed his face tightly with one hand, and slammed Li Tianbi's head into the wall, forcefully and brutally. Everyone around was horrified, and the subordinate called out tremblingly, boss. Dust filled the air, with only Li Tianbi's feet faintly visible. Thinking their boss was dead, the subordinate burst into tears, screaming, boss. But then, through the smoke, Li Tianbi's face slowly emerged, panting heavily. The group of subordinates cheered in relief, boss. Nearby, a large crack was clearly visible on the wall from the impact. Li Tianbi looked at Wu Qiang, his eyes filled with fear. Wu Qiang coldly raised his fist and asked, how about now? Huh? Before he could react, Wu Qiang threw a powerful punch right next to his face, making Li Tianbi scream. Wu Qiang continued to raise his fist, pressing, how about now? Li Tianbi's face was drained of all color, and he couldn't stop screaming. He threw another strong punch, causing him to dodge in a panic and fall to the ground. The subordinates called out worriedly, boss. The rock wall behind him crumbled with each punch. Wu Qiang said softly, Li Tianbi, you have no idea what death really is. After a pause, he growled, you think you're so brave that you can face death? Then he turned his back, slowly continuing, but real death is when the image of your parents appears in your mind. His face darkened, his voice sorrowful, completely unguarded. Before you have a chance to reminisce or prepare to grieve, the image of your parents turning into zombies appears, one after the other. He roared, it leaves you with no choice but to watch helplessly. He then looked gently towards Xing Luo and Xiao Xing, and continued, every good and new thing gets torn apart, one by one. Suddenly, Wu Qiang's hand landed on Li Tianbi's shoulder, and he growled, you're not afraid, because you think death is just a momentary thing. But his eyes were heavy with sadness, but it's much longer than you can imagine. Then he walked away quietly, not forgetting to add, so if you don't want to die, just behave. After all, I really hate you." Turning back, he glared. "And I don't have enough patience to guarantee I won't beat you to death next time." Xiao Xing called out innocently, "Big brother." Wukong gently picked up Xing Luo, took Xiao Xing's hand, and said softly, "Let's go sleep in the car." The little girl smiled and replied, "Okay." Qi Yi and the others watched the three of them leave. The doctor exclaimed in shock, "Oh my god, he's so fierce, he scared me to death." Qi Yi turned and snapped angrily, "Shut up!" Then his eyes lit up with admiration. "He's so cool." Suddenly, Li Tianbi's voice rang out from behind. "You all saw that," he roared angrily. "You see what kind of person your leader is now." The crowd listened in silence as he continued to shout, "A zombie who plays with you like it's nothing, who can crush you all easily at any moment." A little boy cried out in fear, "Mommy, I'm scared." Tianbi sneered mockingly, "You guys won't survive until we reach B City." Qi Yi couldn't take it anymore and cut in, "Yo-yo, this is getting interesting." He calmly walked over, crossed his arms, and looked at Li Tianbi. "You're really making me see you in a new light," then lifted his chin, sneering at a rare, stubborn mad dog like you. Before he could finish, Qi Yi slapped Li Tianqian hard across the face, continuing, "But damn it, I'm the real boss here." Then he threw a kick, shouting, "Get lost." The scene changes to Xiao Xing, carefree and playing in a stream, laughing brightly. "Ha ha." The little girl excitedly called out, "Big sis, Xing Luo. Xing Luo." Xing Luo happily waved back, reminding her, "Be careful." Her smile was as innocent as a small rose. Glancing at Wu Qiang, Xing Luo's eyes shone with unspoken gratitude and admiration. A moment later, she spoke softly, "Wu Qiang, thank you. Thank you for finding me." Wu Qiang smiled gently. Xing Luo continued, her voice filled with emotion, "And thank you for still being you." Suddenly, Wu Qiang took something from his pocket and said, "Let me show you this." Xing Luo was shocked, stammering, "This is..." In his hand was the belt she used to wear. Wu Qiang recounted thoughtfully, "This was the only thing I saw after being attacked by the zombie horde. When I woke up, I thought you were dead, and I was completely devastated." He recalled, his voice soft yet filled with confusion. "I didn't understand." His hand tightened around the belt, emotions threatening to burst. Why could the person I risked my life to protect be destroyed so easily? Then I realized I had turned into a zombie. The image of his subordinate being bitten flashed in his mind, turning into a flesh-eating monster. Wu Qiang's face became emotionless, his eyes lifeless. "I didn't even know why this fate turned me into this." Looking at him sadly, Xing Luo gently placed a hand on his shoulder and called, "Wu Qiang." He continued, his voice trembling, "I could only search blindly for you and Xiao Xing. Whether you two were alive or not, I had to see you. I had even considered the worst-case scenario, that you were both completely dead, leaving only blood-soaked skeletons. But I couldn't accept it." Xing Luo softly called, "Wu Qiang." Suddenly, Wu Qiang rushed forward, hugging Xing Luo tightly. His voice choked with emotion as he held her and slowly confessed, "I'm the one who should be thanking you. Thank you for still being alive, and thank you for keeping Xiao Xing alive." She gently patted his head, saying softly, "Good boy, don't cry." Wu Qiang, embarrassed, blushed furiously and quickly tried to defend himself. Who's crying? I'm not crying." But his gaze fell, and he said sadly, "I'm a zombie. I forgot how to cry a long time ago." Xing Luo gently reached out to caress his face, smiling as she asked, "Isn't this perfectly fine?" "Wu Qiang, even though you became a zombie, you're still trying to live like a human." She continued, her eyes shining brightly, "Protecting me, Xiao Xing, and so many other people." Xing Luo slowly moved closer, her voice a whisper. "Isn't this the best possible outcome?" Wu Qiang was lost in the moment, softly calling, "Xing Luo." The moment their lips touched, happiness filled them, but suddenly, Xiao Xing appeared. The little girl pointed in shock, shouting, "Brother, are you trying to bite big sis Xing Luo?" Wu Qiang, flustered and bright red, quickly yelled, "Xiao Xing, go somewhere else." "Geez." Xiao Xing ran to Xing Luo's side and whispered, "Big sis Xing Luo, don't let my brother bite you. His breath really stinks after he turned into a zombie." Wu Qiang yelled in frustration, "Who told you that? Come here and smell for yourself. See where it stinks." Just then, a knife flew through the air, accompanied by a voice. "I said it." Wu Qiang swiftly caught it, his eyes wary. From the shadows of the distant trees, Qi Yi emerged, saying casually, "My apologies, I didn't mean to interrupt you too." He let out a long, tired yawn and then teased, "It's just that, this kind of slow, cheesy melodrama. It's painful to watch." Wu Qiang, furious, growled, "Did I tell you to watch? I need some space, understand?" Qi Yi sneered, pulling out a pair of scissors and saying, "You really are heartless. After all the trouble I went to for so long." His face turned sly. "It's not like you were embracing a proper style before this anyway. Wukong asked cautiously, do I need to change my hairstyle? Can you do it? Qi replied confidently, absolutely. Qi's skills were on full display as locks of Wukong's hair fluttered to the ground. A moment later, Qi mumbled, a bit flustered. Why doesn't it look like I imagined? Wukong stuttered nervously. What do you? Qi forced a laugh. What do I mean? It probably doesn't look that bad, right? Everyone around tried to stifle their laughter at the bizarre haircut, but they finally burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, this is hilarious. Ha ha ha, that hairstyle is epic. The nation's favorite zombie schoolgirl, Xing Luo, and the others covered their mouths as they laughed. A bewildered Wukong shouted, Hey, you bastard! What on earth did you do to my hair? He ran to a clear stream, bent down to look at his reflection, and saw the new haircut. His face darkened, his eyes filled with helplessness. But the corners of his mouth twitched, and he snorted with laughter. Qi quickly raised his phone to snap a few pictures, and an enraged Wukong lunged at him. He slapped Qi across the face while yelling, I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna kill you! The scene shifts to a cave. A man suddenly started vomiting violently, drawing everyone's attention. After he emptied everything in his stomach, he collapsed and whispered, hungry, so hungry. Then he stopped breathing. The crowd panicked and screamed, Ah, he's dead. Someone died. One of Li Tianbi's underlings remarked, It's over. Someone is showing the side effects. The doctor looked at the dead man's face and explained, Anyone who has ever eaten zombie flesh will die if they go without it for a period of time. He took a cloth and wrung out the water, and while wiping the man's face, he said, Just as I thought, you can't eat zombie meat. Placing the cloth over the dead man's face, he continued, Although some types of flesh cause immediate transformation into a zombie and others don't, all of that meat contains toxins. He adjusted his glasses, his voice grave. For the meat that doesn't cause transformation, the toxicity directly manifests as. The crowd grew anxious. Someone blurted out, What? So what happens if you don't eat it? The doctor approached the corpse, lifting its bangs to reveal a patch of grayish flesh, saying, This person would have turned into a zombie anyway. It was only a matter of time. Hearing this, the crowd turned pale and trembled, exclaiming, Turn into a zombie? A young man suddenly shouted, Everyone. Who else? Who else ate zombie meat? But everyone's eyes immediately fell on one person. They rushed forward, questioning him insistently. Was it you? The young man stammered, I. The crowd turned to Li Tianbi, interrogating him. Did everyone who follows him eat it? You're one of them. Did they force you to try it? Get away! Get away! Stay away from me! Qi stood by, laughing smugly. Oh ho, what a mess. His underling leaned in and whispered, Nazi, quite a few people have eaten zombie meat. What do we do now? Qi sneered in reply. Yeah, so what? Are we supposed to go find zombies for them to eat? He glanced at the crowd and shook his head in disgust. They're beyond saving. Then he started to walk away, not forgetting to instruct, divide the supplies, everyone take a share, and let's split up. The underling was stunned. But some of our own people have eaten zombie meat. Someone else lamented, It's over. It's all over. Qi shot them a cold glance. Screw him. Who gives a damn about them? Just as he turned to leave, a figure appeared and slammed right into him. Ah, oof. It was Wukong. He smiled, his voice gentle. The moment there's a little trouble, you want to divide the luggage? Why are you acting just like Jubaji? Qi retorted angrily. Huh, what did you say? Wukong continued. If I remember correctly, about eating zombie meat. Some of your people were part of that too, right? Like Xiaoxing, he was forced to try eating zombie meat, but they were lucky enough to survive. Are you sure you want to abandon them? Just then, Wu Qiong appeared with a charming new hairstyle. Looking at the clothes he was wearing, Qi was surprised. Are those my clothes? Wu Qiong answered frankly. I found them in your suitcase. Qi then sighed and replied, Yeah, you've gotten more handsome and eloquent. Then, Qi turned to the doctor. Figure something out. How do we cure this condition? The doctor calmly said, I think. Huh. Qi snapped, annoyed. What a waste of breath. Aren't you a doctor? The doctor hesitated. Well, then he began to analyze intently. Theoretically, the human body relies on fat to maintain its functions. If you don't want it to be consumed too quickly, you need to store fat and calories. He pushed up his glasses and continued, We should still find some kind of meat to replace the zombie meat for them to eat. Qi immediately retorted, Are you kidding? Where are we supposed to find that now? Just then, in the forest, a steaming pile of dung appeared. Qi exclaimed joyfully, Oh my god, we've got meat. He pointed at the dung, his eyes sparkling. There's meat in this pile of dung. A big piece of meat. He gulped. It's still steaming. Wu Qiang turned around, exasperated. Can you please not stare at a pile of dung and drool? It's disgusting. Qi shook his head frantically. I didn't. He pinched his nose and continued, But this forest is so big. How are we supposed to find it? Wu Qiang pointed at the tracks on the ground. Isn't it obvious? Are you blind? Qi grumbled. Hey, I know. While walking, Qi noticed something. Hey guys, look! This is weird. That guy, Li Qianxi, set off, and his expression immediately changed. Behind them, Qi's underlings gathered around the pile of dung, their eyes gleaming as they whispered, "So fresh. It's been a long time since we've seen such a steaming pile of dung. You can tell just by looking that it's rich in nutrients. It must be very fatty. The meat must be delicious." Seeing this disgraceful scene, Qi rushed over and smacked each of them on the head. Wu Qiang walked over to console him. "It's fine. Birds of a feather flock together." Getting hit in the crossfire, Li Qianxi complained, "Why me too?" Suddenly, Wu Qiang's gaze froze. "Wait." He pulled Qi aside and yelled, "Watch out." Qi panicked. "Oh my god." Looking down at his feet, he broke out in a cold sweat. Before them was a gruesome scene. White bones mixed with gory flesh. Qi panted, "What the hell?" They picked up a stick and poked at the rotting carcass. Qi's underlings pinched their noses and turned away. Ugh, so gross. Blech. Qi stared at the gory mess, covering his mouth to suppress his nausea. "No way. Isn't this all stuff that zombies eat?" Wu Qiang observed and shook his head. "Probably not." He squinted, assessing the scene. Looking at the remaining footprints, it seems more like some large animal. Qi crouched down, grimacing. "These tracks are huge. What kind of animal is this? It's got to be a bull, right?" Suddenly, a rustling sound from behind the bushes startled the whole group. A wild boar charged out, its mouth open as if it wanted to swallow them whole. Qi's underlings screamed in panic and scattered. Qi pinched his nose, trying to hold back his nausea. "It stinks." A wild boar charged straight towards him. Wu Qiang quickly grabbed Qi's shirt, pulled him back, and landed a powerful kick on the beast. Qi couldn't hold it in anymore and vomited violently. Splat! Afraid of getting thrown up on, Wu Qiang quickly shoved him away. "Geez," Qi lay sprawled on the ground, complaining. "Blech! How could you just let go like that? Are we even brothers?" Wu Qiang watched him projectile vomit, getting goosebumps. "Damn it! Is your mouth a fire hose? You puke at the drop of a hat. You spew bile over every little thing. Where's your dignity?" Qi wiped his mouth and cursed. "Damn you to hell." Suddenly, he pointed behind him in alarm. "Oh my god, behind you." Just as Wu Qiang turned around, the wild boar charged, growling. Enraged, it slammed into him, dragging him towards a tree behind them. A loud thud echoed as Wu Qiang grimaced, bracing himself and holding the beast's mouth shut with his hand. Qi anxiously shouted for Wu Qiang, then rushed forward, plunging his knife into the wild boar. It squealed in pain, and Wu Qiang cheered Qi on to keep going. Lying on the beast's back, Qi grabbed its head and growled, "What? You should be more worried about yourself." He squeezed the blade tightly, warm blood trickling out. Qi held the knife in front of Wu Qiang and sneered, "For a zombie like you, aren't you afraid of losing face?" Blood from Qi's hand dripped into Wu Qiang's eye. Qi sneered mockingly, "Does a little chick like you really need someone else's help?" Power surged in Wu Qiang's eyes, making every detail of the wild boar crystal clear, as Qi continued his taunts. "Yeah, where's your main character Halo now, huh? Can't you even kill a single pig?" But immediately, Wu Qiang unleashed a powerful kick, sending the beast flying and tumbling to the ground. Qi cried out in panic, "I'm about to fall off." Wu Qiang leaped up, grabbed the boar's tusk, and flipped himself onto its back, landing steadily. He pulled Qi's hand and yelled, "You're not dead yet, open your eyes for me." Then he ordered, "Pick up a piece of wood and give it to me." Qi was stunned. "Huh? Okay." Spotting a sharp piece of wood on the ground, he quickly swung down to grab it. "I got it." As he threw it to Wu Qiang, he almost fell. Wu Qiang caught the piece of wood cleanly and pushed Qi aside. Qi landed painfully and cried out, "Ah!" The wild boar roared fiercely, and Wu Qiang, holding the wood firmly, aimed and plunged it straight into its body. Hot blood splattered everywhere as the beast's eyes widened and it roared in agony. Wu Qiang pulled the wood out, blood gushed violently, and the boar collapsed heavily. Qi's underlings rushed over, worried. Bossy, are you okay?" Wu Qiang sat down and asked, "Hey, are you alright?" Still in shock, Qi muttered, "Damn it. I really screwed up this time." Suddenly, Li Tianxian heard something and turned cautiously. He shouted, "There's a noise." The group heard the rustling from the forest and panicked. "What is it? Could there be more?" Wu Qiang bravely stepped forward. "I'll go check it out." As he pushed aside the bushes, his gaze froze. In the thicket, a litter of piglets was oinking softly. One of Qi's men exclaimed in surprise, "They're piglets. There are 4 of them?" Wu Qiang understood, his voice low. It seems that wild boar was protecting its young from being attacked. The blonde guy picked up a piglet and sighed, sadly, "Hey, That wild boar had already turned into a zombie, but it still didn't forget to protect its children. The whole group was moved. A mother's love is so touching, so great. Chi-E sighed, stroking the head of the piglet in the blonde guy's hands. What a pity. But just a few seconds later, with their stomachs rumbling, the group's tune changed completely. They gathered around the fire, slurping from a pot of hot pork stew. Chi-E clasped his hands in thanks. The Lord has provided us with this food. The blonde guy covered his mouth, sobbing. The mother boar gave her life for these piglets, and here we are eating them. It's a sin. The person next to him patted his shoulder. We have no other choice. It's all for survival. I made it quick. They didn't feel any pain. The fragrant aroma of the meat drew everyone in. A mother stroked her child's head. My dear, there's meat now. You're saved. A couple hugged and cheered. We have meat. We finally have meat. Wu Qiang gathered with Xiao Jing and Jing Luo, saying, we picked a lot of wild berries. I had Chi-E try them. They're not poisonous. Xiao Jing held a berry and nodded. Xiao Jing doesn't like meat. I prefer fruit. On the other side, Li Tianxin's group was tied up in a corner. One of his men anxiously asked, Boss, with so little meat, will they share any with us? The others chimed in. That's right, after all, our people also. Xiaolong was trembling with craving. Drool streamed down his face. I can't take it anymore. Li Tianxian stared at the pot of meat and swallowed hard, then approached Chi-E from behind to strike up a conversation. Share some with us. We can make a deal. You. Chi-E sneered coldly. Humph. Stuffing his hands in his pockets. He taunted Qianxi. So you're the righteous type now, huh? He contemptuously lifted Qianxi's chin. I don't make deals with dogs. Qianxi gritted his teeth. Chi-E leaned close to his ear and whispered, do you know what a dog should do when it wants some meat? Hey, isn't it your duty to wag your tail and beg? Qianxi was stunned. Chi-E shoved him down hard, yelling, kneel. Qianxi's men erupted in protest. What do you think you're doing? That's going too far. But Chi-E's men weren't backing down either. So what? You want to fight? Got a death wish? Bring it on. We're not afraid of you lot. Once the meat was cooked, Chi-E skewered a piece and took a deep sniff. Smells amazing. He held the meat close to Qianxi with a look of disdain. How about this? You bark once, and I'll give it to you? Chi-E burst out laughing, but then the meat on his skewer vanished, and the stick snapped in half. He was bewildered. What the? Turning around, Chi-E yelped in shock. Ah. Quick as a flash, Wukong had grabbed Xiaolong, the meat thief, by the throat. He struggled to breathe, his face turning purple, but he stubbornly refused to let go of the meat, gagging as veins bulged all over his face. The signs of zombification were clear. Qianxi's men panicked. Boss, I think that's one of our brothers. Qianxi glanced over and recognized him as Xiaolong. The people around them were horrified. Oh my god, he's turning into a zombie. We're finished, we're finished, we're finished. Wukong restrained Xiaolong and turned to the doctor. Hey, can he still be saved? The doctor pushed up his glasses to observe. From the looks of it, he's already turned. Ah, no amount of meat can save him now. Wukong's expression turned grim. Got it. Qianxi anxiously asked, Wukong, what are you planning to do? He grew impatient and screamed, Wukong, what are you going to do to him? Wukong started dragging Xiaolong away, while Chi-E held Li Qianxi back. Qianxi's men shouted frantically, Xiaolong, let him go. Don't move. Despite being held back, Qianxi worried for his man, roaring, Wukong, you let him go. Stop, I told you to stop. Seeing Wukong's figure disappear from view, Qianxi screamed helplessly, Wukong. From outside the cave entrance, a hot spray of blood erupted. Li Qianxi stood frozen, tears streaming from his eyes. The entire group fell silent. Qianxi collapsed to his knees, gritting his teeth and roaring with bitter resentment. You bastard. Xing Luo, who had been watching all along, called out to Wukong worriedly. Wukong walked back in from the entrance, his somber face streaked with blood. He turned to one of Chi-E's men and asked, Is the meat ready yet? The man looked stunned, then stammered, Huh. Oh, yeah, it's done. Wukong commanded, Divide the meat among the people who were forced to eat zombie flesh. The men responded in unison. Ah, right. Annoyed, Chi-E stepped forward to challenge him. Hey, we worked damn hard for this meat. Are you sure giving it all to them is a good idea? But Wukong had already thought it through. If they didn't eat, they would turn, just like what happened a moment ago. They were his people, and did he really want them all to die? Hearing this, Chi-E fell silent, unsure how to respond. His fist clenched and trembled, a dangerous glint in his eye. Then his expression flipped, and he burst out laughing. Of course I don't want that. If they all turned, we'd be screwed. We couldn't fight them. Pointing to a pile of wild fruit, he said, Fine then, we'll eat the wild fruit. I guess that leaves the wild fruit for me, huh? Without another word, Chi-E grabbed a fruit and took a bite. Delicious, perfectly sweet and sour. You guys eat some too. One of his men said worriedly, "Brother E, take it easy." The people devoured the food as if they were starving. A mother comforted her child, "Sweetie, eat slowly. It's okay now, we've been saved." Wukong sat down, looking dejected. Xing Luo and Xiao Xin approached to comfort him, with Xiao Xing snuggling close. In the background, he could hear the voices of Qi Yi's men. "Brother E, this one is delicious too. Come and try it. They're almost finished with the meat." Xing Luo said softly, "It looks like the immediate crisis is over." But Wukong replied grimly. Nober Xing Luo was startled. She glanced over at Qi Yi, who was heartily eating the fruit. TNB's group sulked in the corner while the townsfolk devoured the meat, and he knew in his heart that the real danger was approaching. The blonde underling said excitedly, "Brother Easy, it looks like they're much stronger now." As expected, everyone is full of energy. Someone else cheered, "I feel my strength returning." Damn, our efforts weren't in vain. Suddenly, Qi Yi threw away the wild fruit, saying irritably, "Yeah, what a pain." Licking the juice from his hand, he added nonchalantly, "I told you so a long time ago." Seeing Qi Yi's strange attitude, the underling said cautiously, "Brother Izai." He stood up and turned away. "I'm too lazy. I don't want to deal with them." Suddenly, among TNB's group, someone began to vomit violently. Bleg. The situation was not good. The brown-haired guy tried to encourage him. "Hey, Xiao Xiang, pull yourself together." But he was horrified to see Xiao Xiang transforming. Tianbai gritted his teeth. Damn it, he's about to turn. His underlings clamored in panic. "What do we do now, boss? Are they all going to?" Tianbi watched Wu Qiong approach. "Wu Qiong," he said through gritted teeth, "give us some of that meat, and I'll do whatever you want." He continued hesitantly, but the townsfolk vehemently protested. "No way, don't give them any." They all protested in unison. "We barely have enough for ourselves, why should we share with them?" The more they spoke, the more hateful they became. If they hadn't forced us to eat zombie meat in the first place, we wouldn't be in this mess right now. That's right, he has no regard for our lives. Even death wouldn't be enough to atone for his sins. The townsfolk protested, "Don't share the meat with them, let them die." Tianbai knew the situation was dire, pleading with Wu Qiong. He then gritted his teeth and threatened, "You need to understand, for the sake of these people's lives, you better share that meat with us." He played his trump card. "To be honest with you, the leader of B City is my father. Without me, none of you will ever get into B City." But Wu Qiong was indifferent. "Do you really think they can think that far ahead?" Tianbai was stunned. Wu Qiong growled, "If they don't get to eat, they probably won't even live to see tomorrow," he said bluntly, watching the townsfolk gorge themselves. "You might not even live until tomorrow, so why would you care about getting into B City? Eat up, keep going, you've survived for now," he said coldly. As for me, glancing at Tianbai, he added, "What would a zombie like me be doing in a human city anyway?" Tianbai watched helplessly as Wu Qiong turned away, and his underlings grew anxious. "Boss." Wu Qiong approached Qi Yi and requested, "Give me the dagger." Qi Yi handed it over, clicking his tongue. "What for? Have you finally decided to kill him?" Wu Qiong turned to give instructions. "Everyone, once you're done eating, go outside and wait in the vehicles." The townsfolk replied in unison, "Oh, okay." Wu Qiong stood facing Tianbai, dagger in hand. Tianbai gritted his teeth, glaring at him with pure hatred. Wu Qiong stepped closer, the sharp dagger gleaming. Intimidated by his aura, Tianbai collapsed to the ground. "Ah!" Wu Qiong coldly ran the blade in front of his face. "If you're smart, you'll take this chance, before you turn into a zombie, to deal with them yourself," he threatened, "because if you wait for me to make a move, their deaths won't be pretty." Tianbai's underlings were scared witless. "Ah!" Tianbai gritted his teeth in hatred. "You!" Wu Qiong just clicked his tongue. "What's wrong? Can't bring yourself to do it?" A cruel glint appeared in his eyes. "Back then, when we were trapped in the convenience store, you were going to throw Xiao Jing to the zombies." He grabbed Tianbai's face, shouting furiously, "You used so many people as test subjects just to eat zombie meat, so how could you be so ruthless back then?" Leaning closer and closer, he gritted his teeth. "You think the only reason I haven't killed you is because of B City? How naive." He shoved him away forcefully, roaring, "The reason I'm not killing you is because I want to watch you pay for every single one of your sins." With a surge of hatred, he sliced the ropes binding Tianbai's hands and ordered, "Pick it up." Tianbai glared at him with hatred, but Wu Qiong said sternly, "Pick up the dagger." Seeing him hesitate, he urged, "Hurry up, you're in no position to negotiate with me." Wu Qiong began to count down. 3, 2. Panicked, Tianbai glanced back at the dagger on the ground. When the number 1 was called, time was up. TNT gritted his teeth, picked up the knife with a firm grip, his whole body trembling. Wukong said coldly, "Hurry up, I'm not a patient man." His voice was like a demon's from hell. TNT trembled as he looked at his underlings. They were terrified. "Boss, that guy Xiao Shang has started to turn. If you don't kill them, The underlings panicked. "Boss," Wukong said bluntly, "otherwise, they'll eat you." They were so scared they started to cry. "Don't, boss." TNT's eyes welled up with tears as Wukong continued. "And everything that happened today is all." His words were like a knife stabbing TNT, who trembled and yelled, "Shut up." But Wukong just gave a cold smile. "It's all thanks to you." Xiao Xiang had now fully turned into a zombie. Tears streamed down TNT's face as he screamed, "Shut up." "Ah." He plunged the knife down hard, and fresh blood splattered everywhere. Xiao Xiang's life was over. The sun set, the forest grew quiet, and the old, dilapidated bus sat in silence. Everyone was on the bus. Wukong leaned against the metal bars, looking out the window. TNT's group sat listlessly on the bus. TNT stared at the blood on his hands, which were still shaking, his eyes vacant. An underling called out softly, "Boss?" Seeing him still trembling, the underling asked worriedly, "Boss, are you okay?" Chi Na sneered, "Yeah, just killing a dog and he's scared into this state." Hearing this, TNT's underlings got angry. "What did you say?" Chiang crossed his arms nonchalantly. "What? You don't dare to admit it, boss. You're all a bunch of cowards." He turned back, his sharp gaze piercing TNT. "You only know how to hide behind your so-called brothers and let those idiots die for you." The words hit TNT like a punch, making him freeze as he recalled Hong Mao's death. Then Shi Yingjie continued to mock him. "What's wrong? Want me to snap you out of it? How did your dog Hong Mao die in the first place? Huh?" The underling couldn't take it anymore and threw a punch at Chi Na. "Damn it, shut your mouth." But Li TNT managed to grab his hand, his voice low. "That's enough." His eyes were dark as he ordered, "Stop it." A worried underling asked, "Boss?" Suddenly, a voice was heard from inside the bus. "Why isn't he dead yet? So annoying." The people started to condemn him one after another. "It's because of him that we're in this situation. I really want to kill him." Someone else retorted, "Stop talking. We still have to get to City B." Another person argued back, "So what if we get to City B? The situation there might be even worse than it is now." Qi Na listened silently, then walked up behind Wukong, saying sarcastically, "I thought you zombies were only good at close combat. I didn't expect you to be good at psychological attacks too." He glanced at TNT and continued, "He must be in more pain now than if he were dead." Wukong replied, "If you want to live, you have to pay the price, right?" He looked at Qi expectantly. Qi smiled in agreement, "Definitely." Suddenly, a strange vehicle appeared in front of them. The driver squinted, staring intently, then slammed on the brakes, yelling, "Oh my god." The bus stopped abruptly, sending Chi flying forward. "Ah." Wukong quickly grabbed him. "What's going on?" The panicked driver pointed ahead. A car just rushed out of nowhere. Wukong cautiously got off the bus. He ordered, "Everyone stay on the bus, don't get off." The group replied in unison, "Okay." Wukong approached the old truck, pushed the door open to check, and found the cabin empty. He thought to himself, "Is anyone here?" Suddenly, a black shadow flashed past, startling him. Wukong poked his head out and shouted, "Who's there?" Hearing the clanging of metal chains, he gave chase. He yelled, "Hey, stop!" The stranger ran nimbly into the forest. Wukong chased with all his might, but the person still pulled ahead. Watching the figure gradually disappear, he gritted his teeth. So fast. The stranger let out a strange laugh. Hee. Unexpectedly, the person stopped, leaned against a tree, and lowered their head. Wu Qian was stunned and suspicious. Finally tired, huh? He leaped up, swinging onto a tree branch to observe from above. "Who the hell is this guy?" Rushed forward, determined to expose him. "Let me see your true face." The figure turned around, revealing piercing blue eyes and black hair peeking out from under the cloak. Wukong was startled. "This is..." In a flash, the man grabbed his arm. It was Li Qianxi's younger brother. He easily restrained both of Wukong's hands, leaving him astonished. Qianxi's brother looked at him, his voice low. "Interesting. Does such a creature really exist?" He crossed Wukong's arms and held them tight, then took a step back and stomped hard on the ground. With a loud thud, he slammed his body into Wukong. He cried out in pain, "Ah!" He thought to himself, "Ugh, so strong." The man grabbed Wukong's head, pulled his face close. Himph, then brought his nose near and sniffed deeply. Sniff, sniff. Wukong trembled, wanting to resist, but was powerless. The man grabbed his hair threateningly. "Let me get a better look." He pried at Wukong's mouth, laughing with amusement. Hey. Wukong could only let out a grunt as the man's fingers pried open his jaw. He narrowed his eyes. "What strong teeth you have." Suddenly, Wukong opened his mouth and bit down hard, but the man dodged in time, taunting, "Hey, so fierce. Too bad you're not strong enough." Abruptly, an arrow flew towards them. Qianxi's brother caught it effortlessly, remarking, Interesting." Qi appeared with the others, holding a crossbow and yelling, "Let him go." Xinglu called out worriedly, "Wukong?" Qianxi's brother smiled. So these people aren't food, but companions? He lowered his head and sighed. Well, that's a shame. It seems becoming friends with you won't be easy. His hand tightened around the arrow, drawing blood. He glanced at Chi-E, but that's all right, let me. He growled, clear the obstacles for us. He threw the arrow forcefully towards Chi-E. Panicked, Wukong quickly kicked Qianshi's brother and yelled, Chi-E. Everyone shouted in unison, easy, Chi-E. In an instant, Wukong lunged forward and embraced Chi-E, using his body to block the arrow. Chi-E was stunned. Wukong? He gritted his teeth in pain, not answering. Both of them crashed to the ground. Chi-E's men rushed over in a panic. What happened? Get up. They helped Wukong up, worriedly asking, Wukong, are you okay? Li Qianshi's younger brother spoke coldly, his sharp eyes scanning the scene. TSK, what a tough one. He turned, his gaze sweeping around, and was suddenly startled by the sound of a roaring engine in the distance. Just a few moments later, an off-white pickup truck appeared, rolling slowly before stopping near his position. From the truck bed, frantic thumping sounds echoed, as if something unusual was hidden inside. Looking at the truck, he let out a cold snort, his voice lowering, time to go. Then he turned on his heel to leave, leaving behind a cryptic sentence, I'll spare you for now, we have plenty of time. At that moment, Chi-E still hadn't recovered from his panic, his face tense. Li Qianshi's younger brother raised a hand to his mouth and let out a sharp, cold whistle. Immediately, with a loud bang, the truck bed door burst open. A monstrous, vaguely shaped creature slithered down from the vehicle, silently moving deeper into the dark forest. He watched the direction it went, then turned back to look at Chi-E and Wukong, who were struggling with his injury. With a meaningful smile, he said, enjoy yourselves. Then, he followed after that monstrous thing, leaving behind just one sentence, wait for me to come find you. Over here, blood from Wukong's wound dripped onto the ground. He let out a groan, ah, then decisively pulled the arrow out of his body. One of Chi-E's underlings exclaimed worriedly, he pulled it out, that's terrifying. Another one chimed in, I told you it's fine, he's a zombie. Chi-E turned to Wukong in a panic, asking, how are you? Wukong panted and replied, I'm fine. Then he quickly got to his feet, his voice urgent, we need to get back quickly, or the people in the vehicle will be in danger. With that, he started walking, urging everyone, let's go. Chi-E, worried, was about to say something about the wound, but before he could speak, his arm was grabbed by Xing Luo. She gently shook her head, signaling not to ask any more questions. Wu Qiang was clearly not okay, but was trying to hide it. Just as they emerged from the bushes, the group heard a voice call out, they're back. Wu Qiang suddenly turned his head, his gaze froze. Standing beside him, Chi-E's eyes also widened in shock. He asked in a trembling voice, what in the world is this? In front of them, bloody handprints were splattered across the ground. Chi-E muttered in horror, could it be human? The doctor accompanying the group shouted, hey, stop investigating that for now. He urged in a serious tone, hurry and check on the car. From the car, whimpering moans echoed, mixed with cries of pain. The doctor explained that a while ago, those who had eaten zombie flesh started acting strangely. Before he could finish, a little boy burst out crying, wah, it hurts so much. Jia screamed in agony. The boy's mother panicked, asking Jia, what's wrong? She wondered with dread, this doesn't seem right, could he be turning into a zombie? The doctor shook his head. No, for now, it's likely just some kind of adverse reaction. He added, besides, everyone who ate the zombie flesh is having the same reaction. Inside the car, the groans continued nonstop. The doctor said grimly, the situation is truly terrible. Suddenly, Wu Qiang turned and asked, what was that thing that crawled out of the car earlier? The doctor, looking bewildered, replied, it moves so fast. I couldn't see clearly, and I didn't dare to look. Suddenly, a voice screamed. It was people, 2 of them. Startled, Wu Qiang spun around. Li Tianbi clutched his stomach and shouted, that thing was definitely human. He remembered the bloodshot eyes in the car, the hissing sounds, and the strange whispers. With a panicked expression, he said, it's something more terrifying than zombies, even more than mutants. One of his lackeys chimed in, ugh, I don't know why, but just by smelling that thing, I was so scared I couldn't move, and my entire body even started to hurt. Hearing this, Chi-E grew pensive. The doctor suddenly remarked, that's to be expected. After all, you guys are considered half zombies now. It's a primal fear of your own kind, so it's understandable. Chi-E stepped outside. He walked over to Wu Qiang, who was standing by the pickup truck. Wu Qiang, did you find something? Wu Qiang held up an arm covered in pus and blood. He remarked, with this much pus and blood, it looks like this thing was badly decomposed. Staring at the pool of blood on the ground, Chi-E muttered, to be this decomposed and yet possess such incredible speed and strength. He stroked his chin, trying to analyze it, his eyes flicking over to Wu Qiang. I used to think you were the only zombie in the world with human-like combat abilities, Chi-E continued grimly. But now, I don't even need to say it. You know, as well as I do, that we have a serious problem, especially after what showed up today. Wu Qiong listened silently, his expression grim. Chi-E continued, that person wrapped entirely in bandages. You know how dangerous he is. Suddenly, a hand landed on Wu Qiong's shoulder. Snapped out of his thoughts, he turned around with a start. The doctor stammered. I just wanted to ask. The child isn't doing well again, he asked. Should we find some meat for them? Just then, the boy, his face filled with fear, begged the zombie, Save me, the doctor added. I'm afraid the others in the car won't last more than a few days. Chi-E approached and called out, Wu Qiong. I know there are some things you don't want to hear, he warned, but given the situation, I have to say them. You know that at this point, even you would struggle to escape safely. That person and that monster could show up again at any time. The bizarre scene from earlier flashed through Wu Qiong's mind. Chi-E asked, Are you sure you still want to drag this busted car around? Just for the sake of those useless humans? Is that why you're doing this? Hearing this, the doctor immediately yelled, Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Are you just going to leave them behind? Before he could finish, Chi-E shouted, Shut up, and grabbed the doctor by the collar. He roared, Wukong, the longer we stay out here, the more dangerous it gets. Think carefully, you still have to protect Xing Luo and Xiao Qing. The more he spoke, the more Chi-E lost control. What could be more important than their lives? Just then, Jia-Jia's mother cried out, Please, don't. She begged, pleading with them not to abandon them. She approached Wukong, weeping. Look at me. Look at my child. Her hand desperately tried to grab his arm. We are living, breathing people. Wukong stood as if frozen, watching the woman wail in front of him. Do we really have to stay in this wasteland? She cried until she had no more tears. She asked him, just to watch each other turn into zombies? Hearing this, the memory of his own tragic parents suddenly flooded back, stunning Wukong. At that moment, Chi-E's bandaged hands suddenly grabbed her hair, slammed her head to the ground, and roared, Bitch. Seeing this, Jia screamed, Mom. Chi-E didn't stop, grabbing the woman's shirt and snarling, Damn it, I've had enough of this. Do you know why you're being abandoned? Veins bulged on his face as he cursed. Because you're weak. All you people do is cry and squeal, like pigs about to be slaughtered. His words echoed, stunning the young men in the truck, but Chi-E deliberately continued. Shouldn't worthless trash like you, who only knows how to complain instead of fighting back, have been thrown out long ago? Suddenly, someone from the back stood up, drawing Xing Luo's attention. Seeing more people getting up, a worried Xiao Qing called out, Sister Xing Luo. Xing Luo gently soothed the little girl with a soft voice. It's okay, don't worry. She then turned, her eyes ice cold, in agreement with Chi-E. He's not wrong, they should also contribute something. At that moment, Chi-E pressed a sharp knife against the woman's neck. His face was like ice as he yelled, Cat got your tongue. His eyes glinted with killing intent, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Don't you love begging others? Go on, beg me. Let's see if I spare you. Threatened, Jia-Jia's mother could only sob uncontrollably, calling out, Mr. Zombie. Wukong stood not far away, his face dark and silent as the woman pleaded helplessly. Help me. Suddenly, a man rushed forward and tackled Chi-E, shouting, That's enough. Seeing him knocked down, Chi-E's followers ran over in a panic. Easy. The group of young men gathered, shouting angrily, Even if we're useless, you don't have to force us to our deaths, right? The leader criticized him, his voice full of resentment. In the beginning, you were the one who got us out of there. You were the one who told us to follow you. He gritted his teeth as memories of the apocalypse flooded back. When the zombies swarmed, all he could do was cry, oh my God, while hiding behind a door and peeking out. Frozen with fear as the zombies pounded on the door, he trembled. Don't come in here. In his despair, he thought to himself that it would be better to just die. He grabbed a nearby knife and screamed, I might as well just end it all. And just like that, he put the knife to his wrist, ready to commit suicide. His wife saw this and shrieked, Honey, don't. He was sobbing, truly wanting to die at that moment. Just then, the first zombie broke through the door, but it was immediately cut down from behind and collapsed. He and his wife stared in a daze. From outside, a voice called out, Izai, there are people in here. The young man turned back to Chi-E, shouting, Weren't you the one who said it? He recalled the first moment they met, when Chi-E had arrogantly pointed a pipe at him. He screamed, It was you who said, Hey you guys. Back then, Chi-E was so aggressive, telling him, From now on, just follow me. At this, one of the young men lost control and roared, So what gives you the right to criticize us? If it's such a bother, why did you save us in the first place? What kind of person just abandons people halfway? Hearing this, Chi-E let out a contemptuous laugh. Oh, please. He stood up and walked towards the man. Damn it, I really. A vein popped on his forehead. He grabbed the man's collar and yelled, Do you think I'm running a charity here? Huh. On what grounds do I have to make you any promises? He threw the man hard onto the ground, roaring, "Who the hell do you think you are?" The surrounding crowd erupted in anger. "You bastard. If you want us dead, then don't you dream of surviving either," one man chimed in. "That's right, don't you dream of getting anything out of this." Another one lunged forward to attack Chi-E. "At worst, we'll all go down together." Chi-E's subordinate quickly jumped in front of him. "Hey, what are you doing?" Another rushed forward, shouting, "Stop." They tried to subdue the crowd. "Are you all insane?" But the people roared back, "He's the one who's insane." A punch landed squarely on the face of Chi-E's subordinate. "If he wants us to die, then we'll all die together." The subordinate stumbled backward. Chi-E's side tried to calm them down. "Stop, just stop it." But the crowd had lost control, screaming, "Screw it, let's go wild." Inside the bus, a terrified Xiao Xing hugged Xing Luo tightly. Sister Xing Luo. Jia's mother also pleaded, "Please stop fighting, I'm begging all of you." Her eyes were red as she looked at Wu Chong, calling out with a trembling voice, Mr. Zombie." She approached him, begging, "Mr. Zombie, please think of a way. You. Before she could finish, Chi-E grabbed her arm. He sneered, his face cold. "Mr. Zombie?" He scoffed. "Such a respectful title, isn't it?" Turning to Wu Chong, Chi-E said, "Wu Chong, you've protected them all this time, yet it seems they still don't even know your name, do they?" He ruthlessly threw the woman aside. "Do you think they'll be grateful to you? In their eyes, you're nothing more than a fearsome zombie." Even though Wu Qiang didn't react, Chi-E continued to provoke him. "You're just a tool to protect them, that's all." On the other side, the people were still struggling. "Damn it, let's just all die. We can't survive anyway." Chi-E's subordinate desperately yelled, "I said stop." But Chi-E continued, his voice sharp as ice, "They fear you, and they hate you. In their hearts, you will never be one of them." He looked straight at Wu Qiang. "You can never become human again." Suddenly, Wu Qiang's body swayed. Chi-E quickly caught him, worried, "Wu Qiang." The next second, Wu Qiang coughed violently, spraying red blood in front of him. Chi-E's hands slipped away, and Wu Qiang collapsed to the ground, completely unconscious. Jia's mother screamed in panic. "Ah!" Xing Luo was also worried, "Wu Qiang." But Xiao Xing cried out in fear, "Big brother." The people who were fighting stopped, their shocked gazes fixed on the motionless Wu Qiang. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. Chi-E knelt down in a daze, his trembling hand touching Wu Qiang's face as he mumbled, "What is this? Wu Qiang, what kind of trick are you playing?" Chi-E's face was drained of all color. His voice was weak, almost choked. A moment later, the bus fell silent, with only the sound of fabric being torn echoing nearby. Xing Luo was giving Wu Qiang first aid, and he let out an unconscious groan of pain. Arg. On the other side, Chi-E yelled furiously, "What the hell is that doctor still doing?" "You're a doctor, he's injured and you didn't even know?" The doctor retorted sharply, "You were standing right next to him and didn't notice. So, how was I supposed to notice?" Chi-E cursed in anger. "Cut the crap, just tell me, can this injury be treated?" "How would I treat it?" The doctor held his head. "I treat humans, not zombies. No matter how many times you ask, the answer will be the same." Chi-E grew more frantic, yelling, "Damn it, what are you talking about? As long as there's a sliver of hope, we have to try, understand?" Just then, one of the young men from the fight stood up. Chi-E shouted, "Halt! Where do you think you're going?" The man stammered, to the bathroom. Chi-E roared, "Hold it in. All of you, get on your knees for me." The man immediately returned to his spot, mumbling, "Yes, sorry." Chi-E was furious. "Damn it, what the hell good are any of you?" Then he pensively walked over to Wu Qiang, sat down, and carefully touched his forehead, murmuring, "His body can't recover now." His eyes were filled with self-blame, fearing it was because of that other person whose blood-soaked arrow had caused Wu Qiang's body to undergo a change. He trembled. If Wu Qiang hadn't saved him back then. At this thought, Chi-E's body trembled as well. "Xing Luo." Suddenly, Wu Qiang's coughing echoed out, and Xing Luo quickly called, "Wu Qiang." Chi-E also rushed over. "Wu Qiang, how are you? Are you awake yet?" Wu Qiang was still coughing, but his eyes gradually opened, and Chi-E joyfully called his name, Wu Qiang. Xiao Xing cheered, "Big brother." Wu Qiang gently replied, "Xiao Xing." He turned to Xing Luo. "Xing Luo, help me up." Suddenly, he noticed something, reaching out to touch Chi-E's face and asking, "What's this on your face? How did it get this dirty?" He glanced over at the chaotic crowd kneeling to the side and remarked, "It seems while I was asleep, you didn't abandon them, huh?" He praised him. "You've worked hard maintaining order." Chi stubbornly snapped, "Don't make me sick, and don't you think that I did all this for some so-called order." Wu Qiang fell silent, and Chi-E pointed to the crowd, saying coldly, I only gathered them in one place because it'll be easier to abandon them later. He continued, don't even dream that just because you saved my life, I'll suddenly agree with your saintly, self-sacrificing act for others. Wu Qiong cut him off. I took that arrow for you, and it wasn't, because I failed to assess the situation. This left Qi stunned, staring at his back. Wu Qiong emphasized, even if I had to choose again, I would do the same thing. You? Qi was left utterly speechless. Wu Qiong continued, so you don't need to feel guilty. As he tried to sit up, he added, and don't think you haven't sacrificed anything yourself. He looked at Qi, his gaze gentle. You took care of Xiao Xing and Xing Luo in my place. When I was being attacked by zombies, you risked your life to save me. He remembered the moment Qi had rushed forward without a second thought to free him. Wu Qiong said, all of this, even if you've forgotten, I remember it very clearly. He stood up and reminded him, so Qi, you don't owe me a thing, and I don't owe you anything. His voice was gentle, yet sincere. It's just that in my heart, this bond between us is more than enough for me to cherish. Qi couldn't argue. His lips parted slightly before he just let out a huff, his face flushing as he stubbornly retorted, what are you even saying? It's giving me goosebumps. Wu Qiong patted his head. I mean it. Qi let out an awkward laugh. You're so annoying. Ha ha ha. Xing Luo watched the two men having an emotional moment, completely speechless, thinking to himself, oh my god. And the scene changes to the bed of a pickup truck. A group of young men held up clothes they had dipped into a pile of blood and gore, gagging. Looking at the result, they all felt disgusted. One of Qi's underlings whined, Brother E, why do we have to do this to our clothes? Qi, standing a safe distance away, casually replied, just do it. Whatever Wu Qiong says is always right. Someone protested, no way, I can't take it. I'm not putting that on. Wu Qiong suddenly spoke up, if you don't want to die, you better put it on. The group looked confused, so he explained, you've all seen it for yourselves. The gunk on these clothes can scare off those who have eaten zombie flesh. Sure enough, the people in the group who had eaten zombie flesh smelled the gore, pinched their noses, and stayed far away. Wu Qiong continued, it's possible it could even suppress real zombies. He reminded them, if you want to increase your chances of survival, you'd better do as I say. Li Qiani swallowed hard. His subordinate called out, boss. He sneered, do what? Then, his expression turned grim. Survive, of course. He cautiously approached the truck's cargo bed, while Qi's men were still fumbling with some jackets. Li Qianxi pushed one of them aside. His eyes suddenly widened, turning a demonic bloodshot red. The metallic smell of blood wafting from the cargo bed made his face darken as his underlings called out in alarm. Boss, what's wrong, boss? Suddenly, Li Qianxi remembered the referee's voice from that fateful day. The match is over. He knelt defeated before his opponent, hearing the announcement. The champion of this year's children's fencing competition has been decided. He took off his helmet, bewildered. I lost. He couldn't accept it, hearing the referee shout, let's give a big round of applause for our winner. The audience cheered, amazing. People clapped, shouting, congratulations, but one man just scoffed coldly. Dad? Li Qianxi looked up in fear, seeing his father turn to leave. He rushed after him. Hey Dad, I'm sorry. Please give me another chance, Dad. The man replied coldly, there's no need. He froze. The man continued, I never had any hope for a weakling like you. Those words crushed Li Qianxi. He trembled, I'm not a weakling. He muttered, I tried so hard to become stronger. He screamed, why? Why? His body trembling and fists clenched, he finally lunged at his opponent. It's all because of you. He yelled, it's all your fault for winning this match. If it weren't for you, I could have gotten my dad's approval. He would have been so happy. He punched his opponent, and even after the boy fell, he got on top of him and kept yelling, you're the one stopping me from getting stronger. He furiously ripped off the other boy's helmet, shouting, it's all. But his voice died in his throat. No. The opponent in front of him had transformed into Wukong. Li Qianxi scrambled backward in panic. No. Suddenly, the audience transformed into zombies and lunged at him. He screamed, no. Get away from me. All of you get away. Then, Wukong's voice echoed, Li Qianxi. What right do you have to be here? Wukong's voice was cold. He trembled. No. You're nothing more than a meal to us. Staring at the horde of zombies, Li Qianxi sank to the ground in despair, clutching his head. Get lost. A blood-curdling scream echoed through the area. Li Qianxi jolted awake to find himself surrounded by his worried underlings. B-boss. Both Qi and Wukong stared intently at Li Qianxi, their gazes sharp. One of the underlings sighed in relief. Boss, you're finally awake. Another one explained, every time you got near that bloody cargo truck, you would just pass out. The man beside him speculated, maybe the overwhelming smell of blood sent you into a nightmare. The group nodded in agreement. Yeah, that smell really gives you the creeps. Just then, Li Qianxi gritted his teeth anger flaring within him as he cursed internally. Damn it, why did I have to dream about that old memory? He panted, muttering to himself, Dad, he wouldn't treat me like that. Suddenly, a shout rang out, Stop the car. Chi-Yi's men approached a pickup truck and gave a firm command, everybody out. They then added calmly, slowly. Seeing this, Li Qianxi frowned with a puzzled look. One of his men explained, This vehicle is safer than the bus, so they cleaned out the back for the women and children. Wukong lit a fire, his deep voice announcing, We'll rest here for tonight. The crowd immediately sighed with relief, grateful to finally get a break. A woman gently comforted her husband, Honey, just hang in there. Suddenly, a worried young man standing beside a mother and her child looked pleadingly at Wukong and began to stammer. This child. I'm afraid they won't last much longer. Gathering all his courage, he asked, Can we find some meat? Chi-Yi immediately reacted, his voice sharp. Huh. He lunged forward, shouting, Who do you think you're talking to? Why the hell should I find meat for you? The young man replied, trembling, But without meat, they'll turn. Please, think of something. At that moment, Wukong quietly observed the swarm of insects, his eyes as sharp as night vision goggles, easily spotting the resting prey. He spoke coldly, Those who still have strength, grab those bloody clothes and follow me. The young men were immediately stunned, stammering. What? Wukong glanced at them, his voice as cold as ice. What? Gotten used to freeloading, have you? He turned and walked into the forest, leaving behind only once he looked at the photo. A lackey approached, asking worriedly, Boss, what's wrong? He looked at the blonde man in the picture and exclaimed in shock, This is that guy, boss. Isn't that your father? Chi-Yi suddenly approached, his tone mocking, Hey, what's the holdup? Getting scared? He snatched the photo from Tianbi's hand, his eyes slowly narrowing. He stared intently at the man in the photo. A second later, he froze, a childhood memory flooding back. That man, with a vile expression, had treated him, little treasure, let uncle. Hey. Back then, Chi-Yi could only scream, No. Li Tianbi snatched the photo back, roaring, Give it back to me. Seeing his ice-cold expression, Chi-Yi spoke slowly, his voice dark. So, he's your father. Huh. Tianbi tensed up, wondering to himself, Why is this guy looking at me so strangely? He asked coldly, What's it to you? His lackeys, afraid a conflict would break out, hurriedly pulled his arm, Boss, let's go. Another one chimed in, Yeah, finding food is more important. Let's go. Only when they were away from Chi-Yi did one of the lackeys dare to whisper, That kid is seriously creepy. He reminded Tianbi, Boss, don't pick a fight with that zombie later, okay? Another one emphasized, Right, catching prey is the top priority. Chi-Yi stood still, his face dark, his arm hanging limply at his side. He silently walked deeper into the forest. Late at night, in the dense woods, Jing Luo, Xiao Xing, and two of Chi-Yi's underlings sat around a campfire. Jing Luo asked curiously, Aren't you guys going hunting? The blonde one replied, That zombie guy told us to stay behind and keep watch, said he'd share the meat with us. Suddenly, Xiao Xing spoke up, Big sis Jing Luo, that thing the big brother did looks so cool, but doesn't it hurt? The little girl's gaze drifted down to Jing Luo's leg. She replied gently, It's fine, it's very convenient. Just then, Chi-Yi's appearance caught Jing Luo's attention. She questioned Chi-Yi. One of his underlings was also surprised. Why are you back? Chi gave a vague reply, his voice indifferent. Oh, something was bothering me, so I came back. With that, he called out to Jing Luo, who answered dazedly, Huh. Chi suddenly looked straight at her and asked, You guys don't actually want to go to City B, do you? These words startled Jing Luo, her heart pounding. Chi observed her closely, thinking to himself that with Wu Chang's condition, how could he possibly live with humans long term? He said bluntly, Knowing Wu Chang's personality, if you went to City B, you wouldn't be able to leave him, would you? Seeing her silence, Chi smiled. It seems you already have the answer in your heart. Then, his tone shifted to a cheerful one as he said, So no matter what, we have to stick together, right? Chi turned away, not looking back, and said softly, After we've cleared away all obstacles. Jing Luo lowered her head to hide her expression, her heart heavy. Deep in the forest, Li Tianbi's group shouted as they chased their prey. They were pursuing a small deer, yelling, Don't stop. Li Tianbi gripped a wooden club, ordering decisively, Get it now. He threw the club hard, aiming right for the deer, and it struck its body. His underlings cheered, It's a hit. But right after, Li Tianbi slipped and fell flat on his face, letting out a cry, Ah. Two of the goons rushed to restrain the deer, shouting, Damn, it took a hit like that, and it's still so strong. The black-haired one reminded them, Don't let go. The brown-haired one yelled, Boss, hurry. He urged Tianbi to get up. Tianbi gritted his teeth, grabbed a heavy rock, and rushed toward the deer. The prey was already exhausted. Without hesitation, Tianbi smashed the rock onto its head, Before long, fragrant venison was roasting over a fire, its tempting aroma spreading. The brown-haired man praised, "Smells so good. It's been so long since I've had meat this delicious." He complimented, "The boss is so smart, eating it right on the spot." Another one nodded, "That's right, this way we don't have to go back and fight that zombie for it." After a few bites, the black-haired man lamented, "Damn it, who would have thought that coward would survive? And even turn into a zombie." He gritted his teeth. "If it weren't for him, our boss wouldn't be in this situation." Then he suggested, "Why don't we do what we did last time, take a car and go to City B ourselves?" Another one agreed, "Yeah, let's risk it. I refuse to believe he can keep us under his thumb forever." Suddenly, the brown-haired man cried out anxiously, "Boss, that photo we saw today, it seemed to be from that truck." The chubby guy nodded, adding, "That's right. Why would a picture of the boss's father be in that vehicle?" The brown-haired man panicked, "But that truck is carrying that monster." Before he could finish, Li Tianbi slapped him, shouting, "That's enough." He gritted his teeth, his eyes blazing. "No matter what, we steal the truck first, then we'll talk." Tianbi's face was filled with determination. "This time, we have to run that bastard Wu Qiong down and kill him." Suddenly, Wu Qiong's cold voice rang out, "Li Tianbi, you've got a lot of nerve, don't you?" The whole group jumped, screaming, "Wah!" Wu Qiong sneered, "But unfortunately, I'm going to have to disappoint you." He grabbed Tianbi by the collar, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Why don't you set those heroic words of yours to music?" He commanded coldly, "So you can sing it for me while you cry later." Li Tianbi felt an immense pressure, his heart trembling. Wu Qiong yanked him hard, yelling, "Get over here!" He was thrown violently to the ground. His panicked underlings called out, "Boss!" Suddenly, one of them screamed in a despairing voice, "It's over! It's all over!" He clutched his head, looking completely broken, and collapsed to his knees, yelling, "City B is done for! City B has fallen!" Tianbi listened in a daze as the man continued, "We can't go there anymore." From the radio, frantic screams could be heard. "City B! Under attack! Need reinforcements!" Tianbi's men panicked, exclaiming in unison, "No, that's impossible." Even Tianbi was no exception, drenched in a cold sweat. The scene before them seemed to be engulfed in a sea of flames. Someone shouted that City B had been overrun, and Li Tianbi's eyes filled with horror, his voice trembling. "Then what about my father?" He let out a scream. "It can't be." The image of his respectable father flooded back, making Tian Shi choke up and sob as he mumbled, "That person. That person is my father. He was so strong." One man, still in disbelief, asked again, "Is City B really gone?" Just then, the recorder emitted a hard-to-hear static sound. Someone spoke up, "This recorder's audio isn't even clear." Chi-E held the device and said, Because it happened so suddenly, I only managed to record that one sentence." Then he turned to leave, not forgetting to add, "However, I wasn't the only one who heard the information." Chi-E looked at Jing Luo and asked, "Right, Jing Luo?" She just lowered her head in silence. Suddenly, a child's voice softly spoke up. It was Xiao Jing, and she whispered, "That's right." The little girl kept her head down and continued. Xiao Jing also heard the recorder say, "City B is gone." Then she rushed over to hug Wu Qiong tightly, her voice filled with sadness. "Brother, we can't go to City B anymore." Wu Qiong, feeling helpless, could only call out softly, "Xiao Jing." The entire group fell into silence, with only the sound of falling tears. Li Tianxi collapsed, sobbing uncontrollably in despair over his father's death. He slammed his fist on the ground and roared in frustration, "Damn it!" Night fell, darkness enveloped everything, and a person quietly carried a rabbit, their steps heavy. Suddenly, a powerful kick landed on him, accompanied by a harsh shout, "Get out of the way, don't block the path." It was a group of menacing people, their eyes glinting with threat. The one who had just been kicked was Li Tianxi, and he groaned in pain, completely exhausted. His tired eyes looked at the group. A second later, one of them snatched the rabbit from his hand, roaring, "Hand it over." "Useless piece of trash." Tianxi's underlings rushed over, frantically helping him up, "Boss." Watching the robbers' backs disappear, they could only grit their teeth in frustration and exclaim, "We got robbed again." "It's getting harder and harder." Tianxi sighed, his voice dejected. "There's nothing we can do. City B is gone. Who would still respect us now?" Behind them, a familiar figure watched in silence. It turned out to be Chi-E. Suddenly, Wu Qiong appeared from behind, startling him. He asked in a deep voice, "What are you doing? Sneaking around like a thief?" Chi-E turned back awkwardly and replied, "You're the one acting like a thief, walking without making a sound." They both looked at the people around them and sighed softly. Chi-E crossed his arms and said sternly, "Didn't everyone just say that City B is gone? Why are you still stubbornly heading there?" Wu Qiong calmly replied, "The closer we get to the city, the more zombies there are, and the scarcer food becomes." A starving little boy asked in a weak voice, Mom, are we having meat today?" Wu Qiong continued, his eyes resolute. City B is very large. If there's even a small hope of survival, we can't give up so easily. Besides, there are many other cities around City B, and we don't know the specific situation yet. Hearing this, Chi-E remains silent. Just then, Li Tianxi noticed something. Letting out a soft "huh." He realized Wu Qiong and Chi-E were talking nearby. One of his underlings saw them too, calling out, "Boss." Wu Qiong said in a low voice, "With so many people, we need to find a place for them to take shelter." Chi-E looked into the distance distractedly and then spoke. "Why bother with all that trouble? With your abilities, you could easily lead them." Wu Qiong's face darkened, and he said softly, "I can't protect them forever." Chi-E, astonished, pressed him. "What do you mean?" Wu Qiong turned his face away and replied, "It's nothing. In short, when the time comes, I'll need you to take care of them." Chi-E angrily shouted, "Hey, what kind of game are you playing?" Receiving no answer, he became even more curious. "What on earth are you planning to do? Have you ever thought, if you weren't with them, what if Li Tianxi's gang bullies them?" Wu Qiong replied gently, "Do you think I would let Li Tianxi enter the city alive?" He continued, his voice cold, "Perhaps I haven't been decisive enough along the way. But I'm not a fool. I'm not keeping Li Tianxi alive out of compassion." Wu Qiong gazed into the distance. His eyes flashed with determination. The leader of City B is his father. I can't ignore my prejudice against Li Tianxi, nor can I help but be suspicious. He and his father are both cruel and despicable. These words reached Li Tianxi, who was eavesdropping nearby, causing veins to pop on his forehead. Wu Qiong continued, "If City B still exists, he could be a useful pawn." Chi-E listened intently, his face showing concern. Wu Qiong turned back, his voice low. "I'll take him with me to the outskirts of City B. He only gets to live if you all stay safe." He placed a hand on Chi-E's shoulder and vowed, "But if this deal fails or City B is already lost, I will not hesitate to kill him with my own hands." Hearing this, Li Qianxi's face twisted in fear. Suddenly, the sky opened up, and a figure was seen running frantically through the cold, pouring rain. A loud clap of thunder tore through the sky, and a flash of lightning revealed the figure. 3 seconds later, another bolt of lightning flashed. That person tripped, falling painfully to the ground. He clawed at the mud, screaming, "Kill me! Ha ha! Kill me!" Li Qianxi stood up and yelled, "Wu Qiong, in your dreams." Suddenly, a cold voice rang out. "Still so defiant, are we?" It was Chi-E, standing calmly before him. "You clearly have one foot in the grave, yet you still refuse to give up." Li Qianxi lay on the ground, glaring with rage. When his hand suddenly moved to make a move, Chi-E retracted his foot in a flash. His expression was completely unfazed. Qianxi gritted his teeth, staggered to his feet, and lunged toward Chi-E to attack. He simply raised his umbrella to cover his face with a leisurely mocking smile. "Idiot." A second later, Qianxi slammed headfirst into the umbrella, crying out, "Ah!" Chi-E calmly closed the umbrella and jabbed its tip into his stomach. The powerful blow sent Qianxi flying backward, his face contorted in pain as he clutched his stomach and collapsed. Chi-E coldly lifted his foot and stomped hard on his face, growling. "Still don't grasp the situation? You're nothing but a pig waiting for the slaughter," he said with contempt. "You can't even fight back against me, and you dare talk about resisting Wu Qiong?" The corner of Chi-E's mouth curled into a cold smirk. "Although, on second thought, you only managed to harm Wu Qiong because of that poisonous, zombie-eating mutant." He continued, "But now it's been contained and can't multiply anymore, right?" Chi-E laughed scornfully. "That must be so hard for you." Holding his umbrella, he leisurely added, "You should start thinking about how to say goodbye to your little lackeys." Looking at the motionless Qianxi, he added, "Who knows? Maybe you can still be a big boss in your grave." As the rain poured down relentlessly, Qianxi struggled to his feet, whispering, "Is that so?" He sprang up, roaring, "A certain death, you say?" He laughed maniacally, his face twisting. "Then let's all die together." At the group's vehicle, Wu Qiong tightened the prosthetic leg for Jing Luo, saying, "There, all done." He looked at her and added, "A prosthetic made from animal bones will be much sturdier to walk on." Jing Luo replied gently, "Mmm." Suddenly, an umbrella tip was pointed at Wu Qiong's chest, accompanied by a voice saying, "So you know how to research this kind of thing now." Chi-E added irritably, "My umbrella is this busted, and you didn't even think to help me fix it." He opened the umbrella to look at the hole in it. Sighing, he said, "It's useless now." Suddenly, he saw Wu Qiong's silhouette approaching through the hole. A soft hem. Wu Qiong took a sharp bone and fitted it to the tip of the umbrella, saying, "The further out we go, the more zombies there will be. Your umbrella is useless, so let's add an accessory to it." Seeing Wu Qiong attach the animal bone to the umbrella, Chi-E laughed in excitement. "Ah!" Wu Qiong suddenly grabbed his hand, warning him in a serious tone. "This animal bone has a peculiar shape, but remember, don't let it injure you." Chi-E simply replied, "Oh." Just then, a child's voice called out, "Mom, what are you doing?" A man then roared irritably. Why are you sharing our meat with them? It was so hard for me to catch it, the mother replied softly. Just drop it, I know. The more zombies there are, the less food we'll have. At this age, the mother gives her chance to live to the children. Chi-E, witnessing this, couldn't help but be impressed. At this moment, even people who cling to life and fear death know how to sacrifice themselves to save others. Wu Qiang, standing beside him, added, because they are human. Chi-E turned to listen intently. Wu Qiang continued in a gentle voice, whether it's fighting over scraps and poverty or yielding at the brink of life and death, they all reveal complex emotions. He smiled faintly. That's what makes them different from zombies, a special strength of humanity. Chi-E smirked, or so they say. He twirled a lock of hair and continued, that's why I'm even more curious about what they'll do when the danger is greatest. Suddenly, the image of Li Tiantian appeared in Chi-E's mind, making him wonder, what would he choose? The next morning, the sky was clear when a zombie suddenly lunged out and bit a man's arm. The victim screamed his lungs out. Ah! A second later, a blade flashed and chopped off the bitten arm, sending blood everywhere. The man shrieked in agony. Ah! Another person quickly grabbed a rock and smashed the zombie's head. It collapsed in a pool of blood. His companion asked worriedly, Are you okay? The injured man clutched his severed arm, panting, I'm fine, lucky I reacted quickly and cut it off in time. Suddenly, a blonde-haired guy turned back, having noticed something. He called out joyfully, Boss, it's Li Tiantian approaching. The underlings cheered, Boss, you're back. We thought we'd never find you again. Two of them ran over, saying with determination, Boss, don't be scared. We haven't reached Bay City yet. That's right, there must be a way to escape. Li Tiantian suddenly grabbed the chubby underling's face, his voice low, My good brother. He lowered his voice, Don't worry. From now on, you won't have to be afraid anymore. His eyes gazed into the distance as he continued, We will become stronger, 100 times stronger than this rotten filth. He raised his head and roared, Wu Qiang will be nothing more than a meal on our plate in the future. This act terrified his underlings, who cried out, Boss, Tiantian. He laughed maniacally, his eyes bloodshot, completely out of control. Elsewhere, Wu Qiang was chewing on a piece of meat. Chi-E asked, You've started eating, how strange. Wu Qiang licked his fingers and replied, It's been a while. I wanted to feel what it's like to eat again. He stood up, Food is scarce, let's get moving. After everyone gathered, they continued on their way. Chi-E was about to speak when someone shouted, They're back. Suddenly, in the distance, 4 figures approached, carrying pieces of meat of unknown origin. The group fell silent, their faces grim as they walked forward. Suddenly, a scornful voice rang out, Look, so it's them? Someone else chimed in, What's this? They actually survived and came back. A guy approached Li Tiantian and said, Hey, not a bad haul, huh? We've been together this long, you should know how to share, hurry up and give everyone some meat. The crowd behind them agreed. That's right, trash-like, you will die sooner or later anyway, eating is pointless for you. Li Tiantian remained unfazed. Seeing no reaction, the guy snatched the piece of meat, yelling, Slowpoke, didn't you hear me? 3 seconds later, Li Tiantian grabbed him by the collar, making the guy yelp. Ah! Li Tiantian's eyes were bloodshot, as if he wanted to devour him alive. The guy stammered in fear. Hey, you. Wu Qiang was about to call out to Li Tiantian, but Chi-E placed a hand on his shoulder to stop him. Don't interfere. It's not a big deal. He pointed behind them. I saw traces of zombies in the woods over there earlier. We have to go that way anyway. How about we go check it out? Li Tiantian watched the two from the side, then turned to Chi. He drew his knife, his face stern. Go use that all-seeing eye of yours. Wu Qiang raised his hand to block the knife, saying, No need, I'll go check myself. Chi-E nodded. Okay. Wu Qiang walked into the forest, instructing, I'm leaving this place to you, wait for me to return, then we'll set off. Chi-E watched him go, lost in thought. Sure enough, his vision was failing. Suddenly, a man came running, gasping for breath, to announce that they had returned. A worried person asked, Why are you only back now? If you can't find food, just forget it. It's all up to fate anyway. The man forced a smile to reassure them, It's okay, I'm still perfectly fine. He chuckled, Rest assured, I won't let you guys starve. Inside the car, Li Tianbi was hiding and observing through a crack in the door. Suddenly a hand landed on his shoulder, and a voice said, Boss, let it go. Startled, Li Tianbi turned around. The underling continued, When that time comes, boss, you won't have to suffer like this anymore. The two men looked at the piece of meat on the ground and said, Eating this raw would probably be more effective than eating it cooked. Right? Tianbi frowned at them. Just swallow it all in one go. I hope this zombie meat is poisonous, he said with a grimace. Actually, you guys don't have to do this. One of them placed a hand on his shoulder and called out, Boss. He smiled. It's okay, we're doing this for you, willingly. He continued, even if others see us as a bunch of scumbags. The underling's hand trembled as he clenched it tightly. But we know you only became a villain so that we could survive. He burst into tears. It's us. We're the ones who are useless. The two sobbed. That's why you ate the zombie meat. A memory resurfaced. After the apocalypse, the land was a barren wasteland, the trees stripped of their leaves. By a cliffside, a trembling Li Tianbi reached out to pick the last tiny orange. His breath came out in white puffs. His bloody hand gripped the edge of the rock tightly. His fingers trembled from the pain, but he didn't let go. Suddenly, the ledge broke. Tianbi fell, his face slamming against the cliff wall, sending blood splattering everywhere. He hit the ground hard, creating a crater of thick dust. A moment later, he lifted his head and gritted his teeth. Damn it, damn it! An underling lying on the ground whispered, Boss. Li Tianbi roared, struggling to his feet as blood dripped from his face to the ground. Damn it, can't you guys just hang on a little longer? The underlings were lying scattered about, completely exhausted. One of them said emotionally, back then, even though we were delirious from hunger, we still heard you. Tianbi, panting heavily, yelled, Damn it, did we escape from a horde of zombies just to starve to death here? He turned to the underling, his voice trembling, Boss. It broke our hearts to hear that. He clenched his fists and asked, How do you want me to save you? Sitting on the ground with his head lowered, he hesitated. Actually, Then he continued, Actually, I don't have a way either. In the distance, under a tree, the chubby guy whispered, Meat. I want to eat meat. Give me meat. Meat, Tianbi repeated. He looked at him, then glanced towards the tree and asked, Where am I supposed to find meat for you guys? His eyes turned to the zombie corpse as he mumbled, Besides zombies, what else is there around here? Suddenly, he froze, his expression tensing up. Scene change. A large bonfire was blazing. Tianbi's underlings sat around it, holding large pieces of meat and devouring them ravenously. One of them recalled, We were only saved thanks to the boss. Another one hesitated and asked, Boss, this meat? Tianbi let out a soft breath and replied, Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with this meat. Surviving comes first, we'll deal with the rest later. The underling continued, Even though you didn't say anything, Boss, we saw the blood on the corner of your mouth. The whole group cried in unison. The one with the buzz cut sobbed, The boss tasted the zombie meat for us first. Hearing this, Tianbi was moved, his eyes stinging with tears. The underlings held up their pieces of meat and said, So please, boss, don't feel burdened. Our lives have belonged to you ever since that moment. Tianbi clenched his teeth and shook his head. No, that's not it. He remembered how he had only smeared blood on his mouth to pretend he was eating the meat. He swallowed his words, asterisk. I tricked you into eating the meat, asterisk. Looking at his underlings, like Rick, willing to die for him, his conscience tormented him. This is my favorite part. With that, he decisively locked the truck's cargo door as a zombie charged out from the forest. Baring its razor-sharp teeth, Wukong swung his claws in a powerful slash. Blood splattered everywhere as the zombie collapsed. Wukong scanned the unusually quiet forest and muttered, There are fewer zombies here than I thought. He recalled what Chi-Yi said earlier, I saw traces of zombies in that forest. Thinking about the look on his face, Wukong suddenly grew suspicious. His eyes widened as he mumbled, Could it be? Back at the truck, Li Tianbi's group screamed, What are you doing? Let us out. Chi-Yi leaned against the container, a smug smile on his face. What a lucky day. The plan is going off